He is a two-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, a three-time Bassmaster winner. He's won 14 boats, a Rolex watch. He was once the Bachelor, and he returns to the show. When he left us last, he promised he will come back, and he will lay the dirt out. And the dirt, well, it was layeth. This one gets a little spicy. You don't want to miss it. Byron Velvick joins me this week. Oh.
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you guys, my humpers that tune in here each and every Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 191st edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you are in the world, listening or watching this show, I hope life is treating you well. It is full-on festive mode around here. It literally looks like Hallmark puked all over our house, but it should be. I mean, it is the festive season. It is December 11th, which means I am roughly 13 days away from starting Christmas shopping. Yes, I am one of those guys that does it all at the last minute, but it's part of my holiday tradition. I mean, every Christmas, it puts me in the Christmassy mood, and I just rush out and get what I could get. But nobody really gets upset. I mean, I think I'm a decent gift giver. And not just to my family. I think I've been a decent gift giver to you guys this festive season, giving you the gifts that keep on giving. And last week, up for grabs, was an Abu Garcia Revo Premier spinning reel. This bad boy... And all you had to do is like, comment, subscribe, and include Abu or Abu Garcia in your comment. It's really that simple, and it makes a big difference. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps stroke the algorithm that keeps this show growing, and I am so thankful for that. But our winner is listening right now, has not been informed. It could be you if your name is Cody Hooser 3333, or maybe it's Cody Hoser 3333. Yeah, definitely Cody Hoser 3333. Congratulations, you have won yourself an Abu Garcia Revo Premier. We will be in touch to get you that prize package. And I mean, I love that a Hoser won. Take off, Hoser. How about a jelly, eh? That probably means nothing to some people, but for those of you educated folk, that is the great Bob. Well, it's not them. It's me acting, trying to be like Bob and Doug McKenzie. So yeah, you're a winner, Hoser. Right on, eh? No, I know what you're thinking. Same thing last week. I did this same thing. You know, I just made one listener happy and upset the rest of you. But guess what? It's not over yet. The gifts that keep on giving are giving. And I just packed this myself. This is a mega pack. This Plano Edge box. It is the plastic bait organizer box. But it is jam-packed full of Berkeley baits. We got max scent baits. We got power baits. We got swim baits. 25 baits in there. This package alone is worth over $300. And it truly is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, look at it there. I mean, not only what you see here, but just imagine all of the memories of the many, many fish you're going to catch on these baits. How do you win, you're asking? Plain and simple. You guys know how this game is played. All you got to make sure is you like this video. I have an excessive amount of dog hair on me. Why is hair always such a problem for me? Last week, it was my eyebrows. I feel they're looking good this week. But this week, it's the hair of a white shepherd. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you include Berkeley in your comments. And if you do, you could be next week's winner. Blow up the comments like you guys have each and every week. It's been a big week for me. From one Canadian group of icons, Bob and Doug McKenzie, I got to hang out with others the great Trailer Park Boys. They had their movie premiere in Toronto, and I got to be part of that and hang out with everybody afterwards. They had little friends and family gathering, which I was so thankful to be part of. And it was all to kick off their movie. Saw their movie. It's a great movie. You should go check it out. It's playing all over the world, so check it out. It's called Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties. It is the Bubbles and the Shit Rockets story. One of my longtime friends, Brad Stella, is actually a shit rocket, so it was good to see him. It was also good to see Pat Roach. Of course, you guys are familiar with him. He plays Randy. He's been on this show. We're going to have him on here again soon. We've had Bubbles on here, Mike Smith. We've had him on in the past. Maybe that's my new goal. In 2025, we're going to get all the Trailer Park Boys on this show because I enjoyed hanging out with them. They're just good people. What they've done is truly amazing when you think about it. I mean, to get the level of success that they've got, not just in Canada, but literally worldwide, is incredible. But the fact that it's still rolling 25 years later shows just how good of people they are and how cool of what they're doing is. It was a fun evening. Met a lot of really cool people and really enjoyed it. A little late for me, but I guess that's the drawback. Like, you know, you look at the Trailer Park Boys and you're like, dang, that's a pretty good lot in life. But you can't go home early if you're a Trailer Park Boy. It's just kind of their life. They were leaving Toronto to go to New York the next morning and do more premieres. They had been in LA. They had, I think they did one in London. They've been all over the place doing premieres. So I guess kind of the drawback of their life is, well, if you're a Trailer Park Boy, people expect you to party. I feel like I kept up well that night. I don't know that I could do it consecutively like they do, but I look forward to seeing them all again. And make sure you check out that movie because they truly are just good dudes. I mean, there's a lot of movies that you go to and you're like, do I really matter? These guys are very thankful of all your support, and go out and check it out. Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties. The Trailer Park Boys are back in your life. Make sure to enjoy it. Speaking of being back in your life, that's the tale with this week's guest. Sure, he's won 3 Bassmaster events. He's qualified for 2 classics. He's won 14 boats, a Rolex. He was once the freaking Bachelor. Just say that to yourself. He was the Bachelor. Most people, I mean, if I had been the Bachelor, I would literally walk around with a shirt that said, I once was the Bachelor. But it's just one of the many things that he's accomplished in his life, his incredible life. And one of the things that was so amazing about the last time we had him on, it was a little over 2 months ago, the amount of comments. You guys are such a great community, such a supportive community. You guys always give me great comments on all of the guests. And I am so thankful for all of the friends/guests that we have on the show and how open and honest they are. But the amount of comments that people made right afterwards that said, feed me more of Byron Velvick, because he teased some big stories. And sometimes people will tease things and that it doesn't live up to the tease. But I will promise you, these are some freaking crazy stories that you don't want to miss. And this tease definitely lived up to it. So I'll stop teasing this. We'll jump right into it. The one and only Byron Velvick. The great and mighty Byron Velvick, a man who started collecting golf balls and became one of the greatest West Coast pros ever. I'm only telling that story so I can right the mistake that I made the last time we did the podcast, Byron. I made a huge mistake. I did not call it takes balls to be a professional angler. So I only want to start off telling that story just simply because we got a title. But welcome
That is
back.
a great, it takes golf balls to fish. That's exactly it. I love that you brought that up because you, my friend, you did your homework. The fact you found out that I was a ball hawk to get golf balls to support a fishing career in the early days, that's epic, dude. Kudos to you, Mercer.
Well, it takes balls. We got a title at least.
Balls.
Quite often we have a podcast with no title. We have a title. We just need to do the podcast part.
I love it. I love it.
We got several stories that you teased last time. But before we get into that, we had people all jazzed up about Byron's bunker. And they went to the bunker.
It's right there. There's the bunker. There's all the rods in the corner. Those are all ducket rods I'm selling and all the reels. This is just like a small fraction of it, dude. It's crazy.
Got a lot of cool stuff, but it's all stocked up. Last time we did this, it was you weren't stocked up, but you got a ton of stuff there, some unique stuff. We were talking before we started recording a VHS. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's something in between DVDs and 8-track. Somewhere along the way, it became VHS. It had a long run, really. I mean, VHS was a big thing, but I'm excited about that tape because it's never been opened. But dude, look at this. I told you I had it, and you didn't believe me. Look. Not only do I have it, there's the Skeet Reese one.
Oh my gosh!
What else do we got? The A Mart one.
You got them.
The hits keep coming. The very rare Mark Kyle one.
Oh, dude, you got the series of them.
And of course, the piece de resistance. Byron Velvick. Look at you.
Look at that hair. I was channeling Skeet before Skeet had that hair. Dude. That's like something right out of I think it was Top Gun. I think I was thinking that I was Iceman in Top Gun with the spiked white hair. That's the shortest it ever was.
Damn.
Dude, that's crazy. How do you have that series in Canada? How do you have that?
I'm a weirdo, dude. I've been into this stuff for a while, but I mean, look at you. You were AI before AI was a thing.
That was back when swim baits were literally unknown around the country except for the West.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact you have a VHS and a swim bait in the same word, that doesn't exist because kids are like, I don't know what a VHS is, but I don't know what a VHS is, but I know what a swim bait is. I got like 9 or 10 of those, so I just put one on Byron's Bunker because I'm like, I got to sell a few of those off to bidders just just for someone to put it like you did in their collection.
It's cool. It's cool to have I mean, and I appreciate it because after you did that, I started digging and came across. How about these?
I can't believe you have them. Dude.
1990s collector edition cards. What year did you start in? This is before you, right?
No, they had the collector's cards. No, I was fishing all the way back in the 80s in high school.
O.T. Fears.
Yes.
Larry Nixon.
Yeah.
Tito Hibden. Oh, this is going to be your favorite right here. Big John Murray.
Oh my God, John Murray has the trading card.
He's got a sack too.
I never got invited to do a trading card, and people would come up to me and say, "Can I?" They would hand me the deck and say, "Would you sign your card?" I'd be like, "Son, I don't have one." Whoever made the trading cards, I hadn't won I don't know if I'd won the Open yet or not. God, that's crazy. Maybe I hadn't won the first U.S. Open yet.
No, Lonnie Stanley. God, it's awesome. Lonnie
How
Stanley.
How do you handle this, Mercer?
Charlie
How
Reed.
is a dude in Canada collecting all this stuff?
Oh, I'm a weirdo. This has just been my life. I also have, that's the later one, but I have the 92, 93, the full friggin' set, the entire set.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't have a bunker.
I need to put that on Byron's Bunker. That needs to go on my eBay site. I want to sell everything you got.
Dude, Chet Dothit. Look at that.
Oh, Chet Dothit. I fished with him. I drew that guy.
Former Miami Dolphin.
I drew Chet. Yep.
Robert Hamilton Jr.
I remember Bassmaster Classic champion.
That's
Robert Hamilton Jr.
That was my classic. You know how everyone has a classic? I think like most people that get into this, there's like you remember everything. Like I remember I don't remember my wife's birthday without looking at my phone. but I literally can remember his exact words. Other than my unbelievable faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and the birth of my children, this is the greatest day of my life.
Oh
Robert
my
Hamilton
God, he's
Jr.
quoting Robert Hamilton Jr. You are a plethora of like old school information, my friend. A plethora.
Charlie Campbell. Okay, one more. I'm going to show one more.
I
That's it.
cannot believe.
How about KVD when his body didn't fit his hat? Or his hat didn't fit his body? There's a KVD.
Oh my God, you got collector items. You know, I don't have to send you a tape now. This is a good thing. I was expecting you to hit me up today on the podcast for one of the Byron Velvick swim bait tapes. You're like, dude, I already have it up here out on the outskirts of Toronto. You're the only dude in Canada that has that tape. I will bet money right now you're the only guy up in Canada that has that series of the Western Lavina Lures. I think Jennifer Frederick put it together with Safari Productions. Dude, it was just a Western series of VHS tapes, and you're the only guy sporting it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just the Western series. Don't tell people.
How do you got cards and everything? You are a collector of all collectors.
I'm a weirdo, dude. Like,
have you gotten the hat yet? Have you got the Bass Center hat in?
No, I don't, because
Dude, I sent you the Bass Center hat like 2 weeks ago.
I can tell you exactly where it is. It's at the border because our freaking Canada Post is on strike. So
I should have FedExed it to you, man. I should have just FedExed it to you.
It'll show up. It'll show up. I mean, whenever they go back to work. I mean, nobody needs packages during Christmas.
You see all these boxes right there where my finger is? Mm-hmm. Those are all Bass Center hats, and I can't find the Loudmouth Bass ones. I'm going to find you the Loudmouth Bass ones. They're green, but those are the blue and black Bass Center hats from that show. And so I sent that to you like 2 weeks ago. I can't believe I didn't just FedEx it. Bummer.
Well, no, I mean, at the time when you sent it to me, they weren't on strike, but like they must have gone on strike like the day after, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
you'll have it hanging right there next to that cowboy hat right there.
Yeah, that's Ray Scott's hat. His actual hat.
It was, dude. That's awesome.
Actual hat comes in I have it somewhere here. The box, like the box it comes in, Ray Scott signature series hat. Like,
no.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
God, you got such cool stuff, Mercer. I want to come to your house and check it out. I just want to come look at everything. I may steal some of it and put it on Byron's bunker, but you can't help you there.
That's fine. I didn't remember half of it until we started talking about it.
Dude, I can't believe you pulled out the trading cards anyway. So yeah, I'm selling all this stuff off. I mean, I got reels and rods and swim baits, and dude, I'm just blowing it out. I got to downsize, and this is 40 years of junk that I don't fish with.
Don't call it junk. We're trying to sell it to people, Byron. Come on, 40 years
of because I don't fish anymore.
Priceless history. 40 years of priceless treasures.
I got a story for you.
I bet.
These guys are from Canada. You familiar with the live target people?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So I just got done selling these things. I just put 3 of them together and put them on eBay, right? And they sold for. Well, I do free shipping.
You know, I worked with Live Target for like 10 years.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I flew up there. They sponsored me. I flew up there to their office up there by Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
They flew me in to Buffalo. They picked me up and they sponsored me at Niagara Falls, and I was one of the first freshwater pros they had.
Byron, we were both sponsored by the same company at the same time. Do you not remember this?
Of course I'm old. Mercer, this bait right here is discontinued. I just found out after I sold them for $8. I had to pay $5 for shipping, so I made $3 off this whole collection of baits right here. This one's worth $30. This one's worth like $35, and this one's worth about $20. So I didn't know that live targets were discontinued, and apparently on eBay, people are buying them at $30 a piece, Mercer. I'm not joking. $30 a piece for these things because you can't get them anymore. And I just blew out 3 of them. Like I said, I paid $5 for shipping, so I made $3 off 3 baits. And that was last week. And now I realized half the stuff's discontinued, and half this junk,
priceless artifacts.
Somebody wants to go fishing with that bait, but they can't get it. I got to sell. You need to sell all your live target stuff.
I got a bunch. I do have a bunch. When you said $30, I was like, wait a second.
I am not joking. I did the advanced search, not what they're asking. I mean, I'm looking to see how much these sold for, and these baits sold for $30 to $35 a piece on eBay. And I didn't know this, and you got a bunch of it too. You didn't know it either.
No, No, I might open a
Honestly,
bunker. There might be a
I didn't
Mercer's
know they were
bunker might be happening.
discontinued. So you don't know the Huddlestons, dude. These Huddlestons back here. This is a Huddleston. These are the original Huddlestons from Mesquite, Nevada. I just looked it up. That's $100 now for these things on eBay because
Dang.
they're the original ones. Because they say Mesquite, Nevada on the back. So when they say Mesquite, Nevada, that's when they originally that's where Huddleston was making them. And I'm like, $100 for those Huddleston swim baits, but eBay's crazy for the stuff that's discontinued. So there's guys out there that are looking for those live targets of yours and these, Huddleston swim baits that they just can't get them. So it's amazing what they're going for on eBay. Really amazing.
So what I take from this is act now, folks. Before Byron figures out what all his stuff's actually worth, act now. Go to Byron's Bunker on eBay. I'm going to put the link in the comments. I'm going to put the link in the description. And it's actually got stuff this time. So a bunch of people went last time, but they weren't able to get stuff. But guess what? That was just the teaser. And you're going to keep filling it up, right? You got a mountain of stuff.
I got years worth of stuff. What it is right now my daughter is going to school. She's going to go to college soon. I just don't need all this stuff. I'm not fishing.
Send a kid to college.
I don't. Yeah, I need to take her to college, and I'm just not fishing competitively. So I'd rather somebody really wants this bait. Somebody really wants that swim bait back there. I'm never going to use it. I'm never going to open it up. Why even open it up? So if somebody on eBay wants to buy it, I just put it up for auction. And the thing is, I'm paying for shipping. So if I do free shipping on most of my stuff, then heck, they look at the price. It's $8 delivered to their door, or $10 delivered to their door, and that's the trick. Is you're even willing to pay the shipping, and so you do well with it if you have a bunch of live target stuff. But I'm going to put mountains of this stuff on eBay in the next year or so, and I'll have a year's worth of stuff to put up.
All right, well, check out.
And I want your stuff too.
Well, let's get through. Let's let your pile get a little smaller before we. I'm a weirdo. I keep all this stuff. It makes me happy. But no, I'll sell a few live targets because I got a few.
I bet you do. I'll bet your boxes are insane, dude. Your live target boxes are not like mine. They're never open. These baits are just never ever open. It's like people get to open up a box they can't buy anymore.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's the stuff you won't get rid of that hat there. You won't get rid of those tapes and those cards and all that memorabilia you got. And I got a bunch of stuff I'll keep that has sentimental attachment, but I got 30 ducket rods over there I need to sell. 30 ducket rods. I'm using Trica now. So what am I going to do with a ducket rod or an Abu Garcia reel or a ducket reel? I got all those reels over there I got to get rid of too. Anyway,
all right.
I digress.
Byron's Bunker. Check it out, folks. Send a child to college.
If they mention your podcast, I'm going to send them some extra stuff.
Oh, damn.
So if anybody messages me when if they get the winning bid and they say, I saw you on Mercer's gig, I'll send them some extra stuff for free.
Damn.
Is that cool?
Yeah, 100% cool.
Done.
I just hope you get at least one person.
I hope I get one person. That is, like we were talking about before the show, of the 7 people watching this podcast right now, if one of you buys something on my podcast, we talked about the audience traction. Of your 7 people that religiously watch you, Mercer, if one person buys something on Byron's Bunker, I'll give them a free hat.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well,
it's awesome.
I'll throw some stuff in for Mercer guy. The Mercer posse. Do you have a name for your posse?
No. Actually, I do. The Humpers. We call them Humpers because the show comes out. Well, it started weird, but the show comes out on Wednesday, so it's Hump Day. But yeah,
that's the name of your group. You're the Humpers.
The Humpers. Everybody's proud to be a Humper.
What's the Insane Clown Posse? What are the Juggalos?
Yeah.
The Insane Clown Posse. If you're a Juggalo, well, you're a hump. You got the Humpers then.
Yeah.
See that? Who knew Insane Clown Posse? I just threw that out.
I had no idea that was going to be a reference, but I'm a fan of Insane Clown
I will not
Posse.
reference P. Diddy this time. Okay, we'll avoid that.
Please don't.
We almost broke the internet last time when I brought up. I meant 50 Cent. I said P. Diddy. If those of you watching,
gosh,
didn't see me accidentally throw out P. Diddy, Mercer had about a coronary on that one.
I did it, dude. I did it on Bass Live last year in the fall, but the story wasn't as big. Well, Trey McKinney, the 19-year-old kid who almost won Angler of the Year, he's doing Bass Live with me, and he shows up, and it just starts raining while we're there. So our producer throws a umbrella. He catches it, and he's holding the umbrella. And I just kept talking. Then I was like, I feel like P. Diddy, because P. Diddy always had the dude with the umbrella. I forget his name. And then I immediately was, no, I do not feel at all like P. Diddy whatsoever. I'm just a man standing beside
Distance.
another person with an umbrella.
You're like, no, that's like I did not mean to reference that. I did not feel anything like P. Diddy, nor I've ever felt like, and I've never had a white party or a whiteout party or anything else. Oh my gosh, we've digressed.
A thousand bottles of
GHB laced lube. GHB laced lube. All my years of Vegas, I never experienced GHB laced lube.
Oh my gosh.
You put it on, you think you got baby oil on you, it goes into your skin, and you're date raped.
Oh.
How did we get into this?
How do you order that many? Like, okay, well, this is the good stuff. Get me a lot.
Did you hear they said Costco? They actually referenced, somebody in his defense mentioned he has a big house and Costco's nearby. Like, so that's your logic? Is I'm just going to stock up? I mean, I might have 2 Costco toilet papers over here and a couple of Costco paper towels, but I don't have 1,000 lubes because Costco had a sale on them.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy, but
sorry, everybody.
Yeah, we'll move on. You're one of the most eagerly anticipated returning guests. Like, if you read through the comments from our last podcast, I mean, there's a lot of time. Almost everybody that comes on the show, people will say nice things. That was good. I really enjoyed getting to know that person better, whatever. But people just wanted more, Byron. You left us wanting, which is pure sign of a pro, leaving them wanting more.
I just want to say, I read the comments and I want to thank everybody that's currently watching and that said anything nice, because I was literally sharing them with my daughter, with Livingston Lures, my sponsors, everybody, Michelle Mercury. All my sponsors, I go, hey, look at this. Mercer's podcast had these great people that had great things to say, and they were so complimentary, and we had a lot of fun. And I just want to thank the people that watched, listened, and commented. And I think you've inspired me. I definitely think I will venture off and split off and do my own, with your tutelage, a podcast of my own, possibly. I think that you brought it up, and I thought, man, I've been thinking maybe that would be fun to do. I don't know.
I think it'd be great, dude. I mean,
one of your guys said, I'm stamping Byron Velvick on my bingo card to take Zona's place.
Oh, no, a bunch of people said that. I was
so flattered. I'm like, no way. They're actually like giving me a vote of confidence to like sit next to Tommy again. I used to do stuff with Tommy, but I appreciate all that. Unfortunately, I got to pick my daughter up from school today, and I'm going to take her to school every other day besides the weekend. So, but that was a compliment and a half just for people to say, put Byron in Zona's retirement spot. And I love Zona. I love Tommy. I love you. But thank you guys, the audience, for even being so nice to me. That was, you usually expect a lot of trolls, and instead of a lot of trolls, I think you have a great fan base that were very complimentary. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I was really touched by all the great things everybody said, and we had a lot of fun, and I loved it.
It is. I'll say it's a really cool community. We've kind of weeded out. I mean, every once in a while, a little angry person will get in there, but that's the cool thing too, because the community that watches this show is so cool that I don't even have to deal with them half the time. They'll deal with them. So
they'll deal with. So if the angry person gets in, the other humpers take the little angry person and just pummel the humper.
Get out of here. No need. Wow. No need to mess with the humpers.
They were super nice. Even the ones that said they never had heard about me before, didn't know anything about me, which is totally understandable because, I was a West Coast guy and a swim bait guy, but I was no Kevin Van Dam. I was no Rick Clunn or anybody, at that incredibly high level. But even that, they just getting to know me through the podcast was a big compliment, because a couple of guys said, hey, it was just neat to get to know a guy that has been around, and never knew me, but liked what they heard or saw when we shared our crazy stories. And those were genuinely really nice things. And it made my day. Your comments really made my day. And I did enjoy sharing them with my friends and family and my sponsors.
Well, I'm glad. So just to be clear, if you were offered that job, is that something you'd be interested in, or no? You're a dad.
A while ago they asked me. There was another organization asked me, and I tried doing the FLW thing back when it was FLW. I can't do any jobs really, and if it involved being at home, if I could do it remotely, it's one thing. But I literally can't travel anywhere because my daughter's at a critical age right now. She's a young teenager. She definitely needs her dad around, with the shotgun and the shovel and the gun and the alibi. I got it all. I got the beautiful daughter, the alibi, the shovel, and I'm ready. And I got a shirt that says that. I actually have a shirt that I found. My friends gave it to me, and it's exactly that set of quotes. But a 13-year-old daughter, I take her to school every day. I pick her up. I could never go to these tournaments. I could never get back on a trail. I'd have to do any kind of a trail remotely.
I gotcha.
But I appreciate people actually voting me to be there, because I love Tommy, and I go way, way, way back, and Zona and you and all of us, and it would have been fun to be able to kick back into it if the opportunity was there for me to do that. But hey, man, family first. I love my daughter, and she needs a dad.
That proves you got your priorities straight, and those scoundrels ain't going to shoot themselves. So somebody's got to be around, because there's a lot of scoundrels in the world.
There's I've had a couple bad kid situations already, and I got one kid expelled from her school already.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a high school boy. See, the problem with my daughter's school is it's middle school and high school mixed together. She was a 7th grader last year, and a high school guy she's 5'8", stunningly. She doesn't look like a 7th grader or an 8th grader, but there was a high school boy, and I'll tell you what, I beat the drum real hard, and I ended up getting him. He deservedly, because he had a pattern for going after middle school girls. I got him expelled. He needed to be expelled. He's at an all boys school here in San Antonio now because of his dalliances with middle school girls.
Wow, this podcast, I don't ever plan anything, but this has gone in a whole different direction. I mean, we went from Diddy to getting kids expelled for. You're making the world a better place.
We'll go back to fishing. This is a fishing podcast, not a parenting podcast.
No, I appreciate what you're doing, because I think being around for your family. I always say that you will never regret time you spend with your kids. Like, never once will you be like, oh, geez, that was horrible that we did that. Like, that's all they want ultimately at the end of the day. Like, I remember one year, my daughter, so we have this tradition at home where on New Year's it started, where I'd always ask my kids, my wife, what was your best memory from the whole year? And then we started doing that actually at dinner, best part of your day. We just focus, like, just something that happened, and it can be something simple, it can be something huge, but it's just a good way to get people noticing that good stuff happens every day. But it started as a New Year's thing. And I remember I asked my daughter one year, I said, hey, what was your best memory of the whole year? And this was a year where, because of what I do for a living, we get to go some cool places. And it was a year we went to Disney, which you think as a parent, oh, that's being a good dad. And right. we went to an IndyCar race, got in the pits and everything. We did a lot of cool things.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking, you're thinking, like, I know what she's going to answer. It's going to be this or it's going to be that. And Cadence is super thoughtful. So she really spent a lot of time thinking. And she says, the day with the pictures. And I was like, the day with the pictures. And it was a day that we were sitting on a dock at a cottage that we had rented. And I was just down there tying baits. But we started taking pictures and, selfies. And she'd make a funny face in one. And then I'd make a funny face. It was just a joke. We ended up taking like 100 pictures, just laughing, making fun of each other. You know what I mean? Like, just having fun. But of all year,
wow,
that was her favorite day. So it just proves to you, all your kids want. I mean, yes, sure, they would love the Disney thing. And we're coming up to Christmas. Sure, they would love to get that amazing gift that they think is so awesome at that time. But ultimately, they just want their parents to be around. So
how old was she that year? How old was she that year that she had that thought?
I think she was probably 9 or 10, maybe.
And she still had the wherewithal at 9 or 10 to sit there and say that day with the pictures on the dock was the day.
Oh, yeah. She's
That's
a
so cool.
deep thinker.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You know what? So I when I was going through the whole divorce and all that stuff, we had the guy's child psychologist involved. And, they said that kids, you probably heard this before, but kids don't understand the concept of love. They don't really, you say, I love you, love, 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 love. They don't know what you're talking about. And they said that the way a kid defines love, they spell it T-I-M-E. T-I-M-E is how a kid spells love. That's what they know.
Yeah.
If you're putting in the T-I-M-E, they're feeling the L-O-V-E. But if you say love you, love you, love you, but I'm always too busy. I'm always doing all this and this and that. But I love my kids. Man, they need T-I-M-E, not L-O-V-E. That your lip service. You know what I mean?
Very
And I'll
cool.
give you an example. It's funny you said that, Dave. So last night, the Lions game was on.
Uh-huh.
And my daughter and I, before she goes to bed, the routine is right before she goes to bed, obviously no cell phones. And, and I'm watching the Lions game, and she sits down with me and we're watching the Lions game together in the bedroom before she goes into her room to go to sleep. And she's just sitting there watching it. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember watching my football team with my dad, and this will be something she'll remember forever. And it's just a Lions game. It's just me and her watching. She's 13 years old, and she starts getting tired. Eventually she goes to bed. But I'm thinking for her whole life, she'll remember the Lions as the dad's football team. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I had that moment just watching the game with her where I thought, this is so simple, but at the same time, I'm building, for her, she doesn't really care. She's kind of interested. She'll ask a few questions. She sees the game going on. She's not bitching and moaning about it. But I thought to myself, she'll remember this when she's 30 or 40 years old. Whether she likes the Lions or not, she'll remember Dad used to like them. It's
really cool.
It touches your own. You're not going to be around forever, and you know that's something she'll carry with her whole life, is knowing that I always liked watching that particular football team play football. And we made that, that was Dad's team. Everybody has a team. You have a team. Everybody has a team.
And now you're actually handing off to be a Lions fan up until these last few years,
it was a brutal
very
existence.
Traumatic, very traumatic.
Oh my gosh. And I had the little helmet on. There's pictures of me as far back as diapers. My family's from Detroit.
That was my next question. How'd you become a Lions fan?
The whole family. I was the firstborn out of Detroit. So every winter, every summer, we always went to Detroit and hung out with the whole family. My grandpa lived right close to the original Lions Stadium.
Okay.
So we were down, we could walk to Lions Stadium from my grandpa's house. Yeah. And not a good neighborhood, by the way.
What did they originally? Was
really
that the
didn't want to
Silver
walk.
Dome? Was that the Silver Dome? Was that the original, or did they play somewhere before that?
No, it was downtown Detroit. It was not the Silver Dome. It was right downtown Detroit. It was what was the name of it? It was on Michigan Avenue, off Michigan Avenue, and it was a big stadium, and I cannot remember the name of it.
Somebody will let
But
us
it was
know.
old. We're talking like the original downtown stadium. So it wasn't the Pontiac. It wasn't in Pontiac, Michigan, or anywhere else.
Where
the Silver Dome's in Pontiac, right? This
Yeah.
was the original stadium right off Michigan Avenue, right downtown Detroit.
Wow.
My mom's going to kill me for not knowing this now. She'll watch this podcast and say, how could you not remember the name of that stadium? But I don't.
Wow. Mom, thanks for watching.
Oh, she loves the show. She loves you. My mom she said you're the best podcast she's ever watched.
Come on. She's only watched one. She's home. She watches other things. But my mom, and she'll be watching this one, she said, that guy, he really seemed to do his homework on you. He knew a lot of stuff about you. I'm like, yeah. As embarrassing as that was. Sorry, Mom. Astrovan and stuff. I'm like, Mercer, shut up. There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Mom really enjoyed your podcast, and she's watching this one right now when it airs on Wednesday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate her tuning in. We've done.
Hey, that makes it 8 instead of 7. Now that's 8. You got another viewer.
Yeah, and she's probably buying half the crap anyways, just to support her boy.
No, on the viewership. That takes Mercer's podcast from 7 humpers to 8 humpers.
Yeah.
For my mom.
Yeah, it's weird that your mom's a humper, though. I got to be honest.
Stop. Oh,
I didn't
Mother
call her
Humper.
that. You did.
Mother Humper. Watch it.
All right, let's rein this ship in. When we last met, we were in the middle of a story, but you're going to have to recap the whole thing because in case people are just watching the first time, the railroad bridge story.
Where did I? Okay, yeah, there was a lot to that story that I didn't get to tell you. So, recap. Do you remember where we left off with it? Did you go back?
No, but wait. People might be tuning in this for the first time, so you gotta. We're gonna hit all of these stories that you teased last time.
Okay.
Do we want to start with this one?
Yeah. We were at the Harris chain. I'll do it real quick. It was the Harris chain. It was the year Folkstad won. The fish were horribly dead.
I got his card. I got my full sets card.
I have no doubt. His card was about to be the next one you were gonna pull up and say right there. So Folkstad won that tournament. The fishing was awful. There was a huge fish kill. And I'm not joking. I was out there throwing a rattle trap at one of the lakes, one of the many Harris chain lakes, and I snagged the carcass of a bass. I brought up a dead bass. And what was happening was the fish kill, the fish weren't all floating up. A lot of them had died and gone to the bottom. So when I was just throwing this rattle trap, I was kind of fishing it off the bottom, and I snagged, what I thought was like a rag or something, and I brought it up. and it was one of the dead bass, all these dead bass everywhere, dead bass. It was a toxic situation that happened in Florida. I don't remember what the reason was, but the fishing was awful. I mean, absolutely awful. And there was a place called Trout Lake that was spring fed, but you couldn't get a boat into it. And it was this little offshoot pond, and it had a bridge that went over it, a railroad bridge that went over it, and there was a launch ramp in there. And I was right in the middle of my absolute go crazy living bass gypsy career, sleeping in my Astrovan, hanging out at the campgrounds, just 360 days a year fishing. It was all I was doing was eating, sleeping, and drinking bass fishing and being on tour. And if I wasn't touring, I was guiding. So I was 100% in, and I was looking for any angle I could to try to win a tournament or do well in these Bassmaster events. It was my early years of Bassmaster, back when it was the top 100s. I think it was the BP 100 or it might have been the BP 100 or whatever. It was just the 100 guys, and it was like, that was it. There was no FLW. There was, the regional stuff that was just the elite tour, but it was the BP 100s or whatnot. I go to the launch ramp, I drop in over there, and the water looked different. Like as soon as you got in Trout Lake, the small little pond, there was this water that was beautiful. And I remember it was practice by myself, go to that little neighborhood launch ramp, found the launch ramp, only guy that did this. Dropped my bass boat in there, which I knew would not fit under the bridge. Well, I went up to the bridge and I could see the pretty water coming out. So I pull up there with my boat and I'm looking at all that pretty water coming out. I'm looking under there and I'm like, God, there's some pretty water back there. And I see some boat docks and stuff back there. I look at my map. We don't have cell phones back then. We don't have, we have the hard maps. And I see that there's a neighborhood. I launch my boat over there. And I immediately catch fish in practice. I'm like, oh my gosh. And a healthy, beautiful bass and another healthy, beautiful bass. And Dave, I'm like, this place is untouched. Nobody's getting in here, and these fish are in here, and it's unlike anything. You talk to all the guys on the Harris chain, and people are getting like 1 bite a day, 2 bites a day, maybe no bites a day. Everybody is dying on Harris chain badly. And I'm like, man, I got bit multiple times in the 1.5 hours I was in there. So now I take my boat while I'm in there, and I try to go out, and I get the boat wedged trying to get out, because I'll explain this. There's a bridge. There's this railroad bridge, and there's these posts that go all the way down along it. And these posts, there's these posts up here are the ones that are on the bridge, and these posts here are just alongside of it, but they're cut off. They're like support posts.
Okay,
but they're all the way above the water line. So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, maybe if I just cut these and get these down and bring these down, I could. I know. I'm going to try.
They're not doing anything.
I'll do it different fingers.
No, I'm just laughing that you thought, these support boats are they're there for no
deep
reason.
enough. I parked the boat over there. I got out, and this is alligator country. I'm a golf baller, right? I walked back and forth in that canal to see if it was deep enough. And there's water flowing out, and I can get in there. So I'm like, there's enough water depth wise, and there's these posts, and I'm looking at the posts. So and this is all during practice. It might have been the first or the second day of practice. The first day was awful. The second day I fished up to it. Then I go put my boat on the trailer, go over there. I come back and I go, okay, I got to figure out how to get in there. I try wedging my boat in there, and it's just too wide. So my epiphany was to go get a chainsaw, which I had to rent from a hardware store, and cut the posts. True story. So I go to a hardware store near the Harris chain. I find a place that rents chainsaws. And I'm going to be honest, this is a West Coast guy. I've never used a chainsaw in my life. So I'm not a lumberjack, bro. This is not my forte. But I got to get in there, man. This is the winning spot. So I get in the water on the last day of practice. I wait till the last day of practice. So if anybody sees me, I don't want anybody to run by the lake and see me in there. So I don't even put my boat in. I just go rent the chainsaw, and I go to the bridge on the last 3 or 4 hours before the lake goes off limits until dark. I'll never forget, the sun is setting over the lake that connects to Trout Lake, the Dead Sea that is out there. And I got this chainsaw, and I'm like, and I'm cutting these posts, and these are big round posts like this, and I'm cutting them. And as soon as I cut them, I grab them and I put them back up. So if anybody else happens to come by, they can't tell that they've been cut. And I go underneath there, and I got all these posts that are cut off at the water line. True story here. All true.
So not only are you cutting the posts that are supporting a bridge,
No,
that
I never cut the ones. I only cut.
they
My
were there
point
for
is,
a reason, Byron. They were
they
there
were
for.
there, but they were lower. So I just did this. I just did a little. I clipped them. I just took them down about that much. I don't mean to be flipping people off,
It's
but
fine.
I just literally cut the post that was alongside the posts that were holding it. I thought, well, maybe those were old posts. Maybe they redid it.
Yeah.
You know, but
Extra
those posts are
posts.
alongside of it, but they don't connect to the actual bridge.
But
they're
maybe
just
they're supporting the post that's beside them.
quite possibly, yeah. In retrospect.
And so, my point is,
Mercer, I'm just going in there to fish. I'm not really worried about the support post of the Amtrak train.
But what's funny to me is not only did you cut down posts that were most likely there for a reason, you put them back up so that nobody could tell.
This is where it gets good. I hope he watches this show because I'm going to throw the name out because here comes the draw. It's a pro draw. I cut all the posts down going all the way in. On the last day of practice, I cut every one of them. There's like 5 or 6 of them on both sides. So I got to cut 10 posts and I got to put them all back up on both sides. But I want it so that now that it's low enough that my boat has enough depth, but I eliminated the width situation so I could wedge the boat in there and go through, in my opinion, but I never tested it. Because it was last day of practice, I did not want anybody to drive by and see a bass boat coming in and out of that pocket. For sure, because that would have been the death of me. So what I do is I put all the posts back. I go to the draw, and it's a pro draw, as you know. Remember the old days?
Yeah.
And you draw a different pro every day. My first day draw was, and I got to make sure I get this right because it was Tom Mann Jr. was my first day. You know Tom Mann Jr.?
Yeah, got his card too.
Is he still around?
I don't personally know. I think you sure, yes.
Because Tom, if he gets a chance to see this, Tom was the best part of this whole thing. Tom's like, well, he goes, how bad does it suck for you? And I go, I got one idea of what to do. And he goes, well, I'm not catching anything at all. He goes, we got an early boat number. We got to go to the alligator hole. You remember, I don't know if you're familiar with Harris Chain. There's a place called the alligator hole.
Yeah.
And it's a deep middle lake that everybody fishes in. And it's just it's like an old gravel pit or something, I think, that they flooded.
Okay.
It's called the alligator hole at Harris Chain. And so he goes, let's get in there. Let's get over to the alligator hole early and fish it. And if that doesn't work out, we'll go to your stuff. I'm like, great. We'll do it. He goes, you want to take your boat or my boat? I go, we got to take my boat because I definitely want to take my boat. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I really don't care either way. Like he's already defeated. That's how bad the bite was. So Tom Mann Jr. and I run to the alligator hole because he wanted to start there. It's shared weight. It's not shared weight. It's shared water. And I'm like, hey, you can start wherever you want. I know where I want to go, and I don't care what time we get there because I'm thinking it's a blockade. No one's going to go there. I have it to myself. And so we go to the alligator hole, and there's 20 boats in the alligator hole, and they're all fishing. And one guy catches a bass in the back of somebody else's boat, and everybody claps. I'll never forget it. Everybody claps because they go, hey, dude, you're leading the tournament. I mean, that's how bad the bite was, Mercer. Like one guy out of 20 boats in the alligator hole caught it. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't wait to get into Trout Lake because it's on fire. Like, and one guy caught a bass the whole time we were there. About 9 o'clock, Tom Mann Jr. goes, what do you want to do? I go, I got a spot we got to go to. I run to that pocket. I run up to the bridge, and he looks, and he goes, where are we going? I go, we're going in there. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, we're going to go up in there. I go, there's water, and there's a lake on the back side. He goes, you got to be kidding me. So I get on the trolling motor, and I put the big motor up, and I tilt the motor up, and I'm coming in, right? And he goes, son, he goes, that your boat ain't going to fit in there. It's too wide. And as I get up Mercer to the first post, I go up to the post, and I go, push, and it splashes down. And he looks at me with these big eyes, and he goes, and he looks under the bridge, and he goes, did you, every one of those are cut? You cut every one of those? I go, every single one. He goes, let me help you, son. And he gets in there with me. So Mercer's on one side, and Mercer, Tom Mann Jr. is on one side, and I'm on the other, and we're just knocking these posts down, and we're dragging the boat up, and I'm like, we're getting in. And as we get under the bridge, the motor hits the top of the bridge because it's trimmed all the way up. And as I trim it down, it catches, and it won't go. and it hits the sandbar on the trim down. So I trim it up, and it hits the top of the. This is a low bridge, it's a low little bridge. And as I get back down, it hits the gravel on the bottom. It's bottoming out. It's lifting the boat up. So I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down. We're stuck because of the motor in the back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a disaster. And I can't get in. And we try, and we give up, and we go in. And so the day sucked. I don't think either one of us caught a fish. I can't remember if either one of us made it to weigh in. Nobody was making it to weigh in. Like I said, it was the all-time lowest winning weight ever, correct? I think, do you remember that full scale tournament?
Yeah, no, I think it might have been, yes.
It was like 9 or 10 or 12 pounds for the 3 days. It was horrible. It was really, I guess I have to look it up to see, but it was probably the lowest winning weight ever in a tournament for a Bassmaster. We didn't have anything. The day sucked. So I go to a good friend of ours that you're going to know the name on the evening after the first day. I'm frustrated. And I know somebody who's been kind of a friend of mine who is pretty good at getting boats into tight places, Randy Blockett. And I go to Blockett's room and I go, Randy, I go, listen, man, I got this spot and I got to figure out how to get my boat in there. I go, I've tried going in. I go, would it work if I went backwards and trimmed in? And so I laid out everything in the hotel room to Randy Blockett, everything. And I even show him on the map where it's at. This was a huge mistake. And I'll tell you, wait till you hear it.
No.
Yeah, bad mistake. And I go in and I go, what if I went backwards? And he's asking me all about it. He goes, are there fish in there? I go, oh, dude, I was in there for an hour and a half. And I mean, they're beautiful, big green bass in there. He's like listening. And I'm like, well, this place is where you win the tournament. And so Blockett tells me, yeah, try going in backwards, trim the motor down as you're coming towards it. And then maybe the motor will clear because there's just a sandbar, a gravel bar. And maybe the motor will go past it so I'm like, okay. So the next day I draw a woman angler. I can't remember if it was Frida Lee or no, somebody's wife. Somebody's wife fished the tour, and I can't remember her name now. But I drew a lady the second day, and sure enough, man, I blast straight over there, and by now I'm making phone calls to get an aluminum boat because now I'm looking for an aluminum boat as well. Because I talked to Dewey Kendrick, who was the tournament director at the time, and he said you can switch boats during the tournament. You're allowed to switch. Back then, you were allowed to switch, and you could use an aluminum as long as it had 2 live wells, a kill switch. It met all the requirements. You could do it. So, God, I wish I could remember the lady's name. I feel bad I can't. So
it wasn't Jimmy Houston's wife, was it? Because she fished for a while.
Charlie Ingram's wife, or one of the older guys had a wife that fished the tour. It was not Jimmy Houston's wife. It was one of the other guys' wives. And he fished the tour, older guy, and his wife fished as well. And she fished the tournaments. So she was on. I wonder if she was an observer or something like that because she wouldn't have qualified. But anyway, she was on the tournament. So I had this lady. We back up to it, and I put the trolling motor down, and I can't get in there. I'm pushing it back, and the trolling motor, the big motor, is backed in. I mean, I'm fighting to get in this thing on day 2, and I can't get in it. And I'm disgusted. And I'm like, forget it. You know what? I can't get in. I can't remember again if I caught a fish or she caught a fish or we blanked again. It was a horrible deal, but I'm still hell-bent on getting in there. So I find a guy that lets me, a guy has an aluminum boat. And on the end of the second day, I get an aluminum boat set up. Now I'm set. I'm excited. Dewey Kendrick says, let me check your boat out. I need to know. I got to get my insurance paperwork. Remember, you got to get your insurance paperwork and all your stuff. And I get this boat insured, and it's got a kill switch, and it's just a piece of junk old John boat. And I'm all excited. And he goes, and I get everything to Dewey, and I'm at Dewey Kendrick's hotel room on the end of the second night. And he goes, you're good to go for tomorrow. And I go, great. And he goes, just want to let you know somebody else requested an aluminum boat for the last day too.
Oh,
and I go, who? I go, Randy Blockett. He goes, no, it's Roland Martin. And I'm like, what? Roland Martin? And he's in Florida. He's got an aluminum boat coming. And I'm like, what? Roland Martin has an aluminum boat coming? I know that Randy Blockett that must have told Roland Martin, and Roland Martin's going, because I told Randy not to tell anybody. And I am freaking out in Dewey Kendrick's room. I'm freaking out. And he sees me losing it. And I'm like, no way. And he goes, I just thought you should know somebody else tomorrow is going to be in an aluminum boat besides you. Because he knows everything that I'm going through. But he didn't know I cut down the bridge. By the way. That came out later. So this is a long story, but I apologize.
No.
So Dewey Kendrick tells me that somebody else has an aluminum boat. And as I'm walking out the door, he tells me it's Roland Martin. And he said, Byron, he goes, one more thing. I go, what? He goes, Randy Blockett's paired with Roland Martin for tomorrow. Yeah. So what happened was Randy drew Roland and said, get us an aluminum boat. I know where to go. This was what happened.
Come on.
Yeah, dude, straight up. So I now have to deal with Randy Blockett and Roland Martin and me and my John boat with whoever I drew the last day. And I'm sitting there the next morning, Mercer, and Rick Clunn's my mentor and Rick Clunn's my friend. And I'm telling Rick Clunn everything the night before. And I got tears in my eyes. I'm trying so hard. You know, I've cut down the railroad bridges. Now Randy Blockett and Roland Martin are going to totally screw me out of this tournament. And I can win the tournament in one day there. And so the next morning, Mercer, this is the craziest thing. The next morning, I'm sitting there and Randy won't even make eye contact with me. He's got his thing on and he's looking down and he's in Roland Martin's aluminum boat. And Roland's sitting there, hey, man, hey, you got one too? I guess we'll see you in there. Roland's chucking me up, like laughing me up. He goes, hey, how many fish did you catch in there? And I'm like, I don't care if you're Roland Martin. I ain't talking to you. Like, I'm mad as hell right now. I'm shaking him so mad. What?
I can just imagine him. Ooh, son. He's fine. He's ornery this morning.
He wants me to tell him where the fish are in there. They're going to uncharted waters, but they know I pre-fished it. So Roland wants me to like kiss his butt and tell him where to go fish, right? I'm not. And Randy is doing this. Randy's just doing this stuff over here, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I remember it's cold, really cold. And Rick Clunn pulls up to me. He pulls up in his bass boat. There's only 2 aluminum boats and all these big shiny bass boats except for these 2 aluminums. And Rick pulls up and I got a piece of junk beater aluminum. I don't have the Roland Martin perfect, just brought in from Clewiston Marina, gorgeous. You know, the best aluminum you could ever have is what he has. And I have this piece of junk aluminum that's like got this horrible little motor on it. And I know I'm going to be the last guy there. And Rick pulls up to me. He goes, hey, he goes, about your spot. And this is on the water while we're waiting for blast off. He goes, is there grass in there? I'm like, no, I didn't see much grass. And he goes, well, he goes, there's been a big heavy front came in last night. So catch them quick because when the sun hits the water, it's going to be dead. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Rick? You know, like, I don't care if the sun hits the water. This place hasn't seen a bait the whole time. It's going to be great. You know, this is the prophet talking to you. This is the guru of fishing at the time. What America's, you know, the number 1 angler in the world, voted the best angler in the world at the time, Rick Clunn. And he tells me, he goes, just be ready to catch them quick because when the sun hits the water, it's going to get real tough. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to blow the doors off this thing. I'm going to win this tournament on the last day if Randy Blockett and Roland Martin don't get in my way. So we take off, blast off, and I'm going, and boats are blowing by me. Paul Elias kind of sprays me for fun because I know Paul and I were on the same team. And he takes that boat and runs right alongside me and gives me a big shower in the morning. And I'm just, and all the guys are blowing by you because you're doing 25 miles an hour. And all the boats are going 50, 60 miles an hour past you. And you're just going like this. And of course, Roland and Randy get there before I do. And they're just pulling up. They're lost. They're just kind of pulling up. And I come up on them and I see them, Mercer. I pull right up and they're already inside and they're already going under the bridge. And I get up alongside them. And as soon as they get through the bridge, Roland jumps up and drops the trolling motor. And Randy won't even look at me. Like he is literally like widely embarrassed about this whole thing. And Randy's not even making eye contact.
But not embarrassed enough not to do it. Like just
you know what? He got a hold of Roland.
He's totally making a video about this, just so you know. Randy has got a rebuttal video that's coming out only hours after
I got more Randy stories. If we ever want to go into Randy stories, on my podcast, if it ever gets into that, I got Blockett stories that you can't believe, but that's another world.
Okay.
I drew him and I fished with him. He was in my boat before. Another story. Not today. So anyway, we pull up, Mercer, and they drop down right past the bridge and they just start fishing. And as I'm idling by and I'm scowling at them because now it opens up and I'm idling by looking at them and Roland goes, hey, this water's pretty in here. How many did you catch? You know, what part of it did you fish? And I was in there. There's some boat docks and there's some canals on the right-hand side. And they just start fishing as soon as they get under the bridge. And I go past them, get out into the lake. run over to the canals that I know about. Cause I mean, I practice this thing. I know they're just fishing blind. And I get out there, whack, 3-pounder, whack, 2-pounder. My guy catches one, whack. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, and he's freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh. He goes, there's fish. Like, this is going to be amazing. And I lose another one. And it's freezing ass cold, and the sun hit the water, Dave, and literally the bite stopped. And it was crazy because it was like what Rick said about cold front, clear sunny day, post front, Florida bass, it like shut off. You get these bites every now and then. You get these like poof, and they'd hit it and they drop it. And you're like, oh my God, I just got bit, but he dropped it. It was like the thing shut off. And I got like a 3 and a 2. And I think I might have a little small one. He had 1 or 2. I mean, it was like on fire, Dave. We're just like, yeah, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden when that sun came up over and it was flat, calm, and freezing cold, and we're in Florida, that was it. And so midday, Roland and Blockett found me. Well, what you got? And I will not talk to them. I'm not in any kind of awe of, Roland Martin. And he's my friend off tour, and I love Scott Martin. We're all friends. But on the water, because of this day of what's happening now, at that moment, dude, all bets are off. I'm ignoring you guys. I'm not going to tell you what I got. I fish around them, and they fish. And, it was a sad day. That was the end of the – oh, okay, so the end. Dewey Kendrick at the weigh-in. Byron Velvick, did you cut down a railroad bridge? He goes, because I'm going to have my personal assistant, my assistant, Trip Weldon, the assistant at the time. Remember that?
Get on out there, Trip.
Trip, go to that. Go out there and look at it. So Trip Weldon drove to the bridge to see if I compromised a live Amtrak train bridge. To this day, if any of you live in Florida, go to the Harris chain, go into that bridge, and you'll notice those posts are just a little bit shorter because of me and a chainsaw. 25 years ago, I guarantee you that I really want to go back someday and just look at that bridge, just for the memory of sitting there knee deep, waist deep in water with probably alligators trying to figure out if they should eat me or not, and me chainsawing down every one of those posts. But it didn't go as well as planned. I think I still made a check in that tournament with the 2 fish I caught. If I'm not mistaken, I checked that tournament, but either way, it was a complete disaster. And Trip Weldon went, and I was exonerated. I didn't get in trouble. But yes, I was questioned by Bass, and they wondered if I had cut down a railroad bridge in Florida. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I can just hear Trip. Dewey, there's definitely been some tomfoolery that has happened with this bridge.
Oh my God, you made me spit up my nose. Yeah, Dewey Kendrick was on fire that one. He's like, I need that investigated. He thought I compromised the Amway track bridge.
So before we move on from this story, I have to clear a few
Amtrak,
things.
sorry, not Amway. Amtrak train bridge.
Amway makes great soap too. So there's Mike Folkstad, right?
There he is.
That's him. Tom Mann Jr. is living alive and well. Good to let you know. I didn't want to start any rumors. He's a guide on Okeechobee, so you can actually go fishing with Tom Mann Jr. So,
oh my
and if
gosh,
this comes
Tom Mann Jr. I would. Anybody know Tom Mann Jr.? Tell him you heard the story about the train bridge with Byron Velvick at the Harris chain.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go try to see him. Like I want to find him when we're in Okeechobee this year because he's a guide there. Now, if this next thing happens to be true, I'm going to get into poker because while you're telling that story, I start filing through the cards because I said I had the Mike Folkstad card. And there was a card right behind his card, just randomly. And it was right around the time you started talking about the lady that you had in the boat in day 2. If it is this person, I mean, screw this fishing stuff, dude. I'm moving to Vegas and doing card tricks. Was it Charlie Reed's wife?
Vogel Reed. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Dude.
Vogel Reed. Yes, it was.
Look at
Dude,
that.
Did you look that up online?
No, I swear to you. I pulled this stack of cards while you were talking, while you were talking about that story, if you go back, when you watch the replay of this, you see me pull, and I'm down here and I'm looking through the cards, looking for Mike Folkstad. That's all I'm looking for. I find Folkstad. I pull it out. The card literally right behind it
I
right
think
there.
was
And I just said, I wonder
yes.
if that's her.
Yes. Charlie Reed's wife, Voga Reed. Voga Reed was in my boat. Oh my gosh.
Magic
Man,
cards.
I could have never guessed it. Dude,
Magic cards.
This is some weird kismet we got going on here. There is like this crazy cool voodoo stuff. That Voga Reed was who I drew the second day. Wow, that's crazy.
Is amazing, dude. It was the next card, like the Folkstad, and I'm literally, I'm trying to.
I could see the guy. I remember the guy. I drew the guy. I mean, I drew the guy. I remember the guy, and he was an older guy. It was Charlie Reed, and it was his wife. Yes, Voga. Wow. I mean, that's a huge wow.
God, if I had done it like in front of everyone, if I had held the cards up and done it, it never would have worked out. Story of my life, dude. Everything is wonderful with a little caveat of shit. Like, I didn't show it to everybody, but it just blows me away that, like, it could have been anyone. Like, look it. And then along, wow. People are going to totally think we set this up.
They are. That's impressive, and it's honest to God. I am shocked, and it's true. And there's no AI here. This is not one of those fake videos that are AI or staged. This is a very authentic, natural, real podcast.
Nothing, no sleight of hand, nothing up my sleeves.
That's amazing, dude. I can't believe that's who fished the tour back then. That's who was. Voga Reed was fishing the Bassmasters at that time.
Yeah, Charlie Reed, 1986 Bassmaster Classic champion.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even, to let you know, if you watch when I hold this card up, I'm like, is this the person? I didn't know how to say her first name. V-O-J.
I remember fishing with her, Voga Reed. I remember Voga.
Well,
you could draw Voga Reed. She was one of the few lady anglers.
Wow.
That's impressive, dude, because I would have never remembered her name if you hadn't done that. I could have never pulled that one out.
Dude, and there's several female anglers in this collection.
Yeah.
It just blows me away that was it was literally the next card. I pulled Folkstad and her card's right there. And I'm like, wait a second, that's Charlie Reed's wife. Wow.
Dude, I know we don't have all day today, but there's because you're on Folkstad. At Bassmaster, where I set the record, had 83 pounds.
Uh-huh.
That was pro draw. One of my draws was Folkstad. And that is, I know we don't have all the stories today.
Bring it.
Oh my gosh, that was a tough one. Folkstad was in his prime, and Mike and a couple of the other guys, they were like the West Coast Mafia. They did not like the young guys coming up. And I'm not talking Aaron, because Aaron was still pumping gas and he was in high school. But me and Robert Lee and John Murray and Brett Hyde was younger than us. Some of the other guys, Skeet was younger than us, but he was almost there. But there was a group of guys that were kind of like, we had a hard time. We were stealing candy out of their candy store. Does that make sense? We go to Orville, we go to Folsom, we go to the Delta, we'd go to Clear Lake, and we were stealing money out of their candy store because they were the kings.
So you mean even back then, veteran pros did not like the young pros?
Dude,
this just started this year, I thought.
Dude, it was horrible, man. I stuck up for Aaron so many times when he was young, and Aaron got hit hard. I mean, hard on some stuff. Like poor Aaron one time. You know Aaron, right? You'll appreciate Aaron Martins. We're at Casitas, and Aaron's catching trout because he wants fresh trout, and he's got his bass boat, and he's catching trout, and he's putting them in his live well to go home to eat because Aaron wants them sushi fresh. Aaron wants to slit their gills and eat them within the hour, right? Well, poor Aaron is putting fresh trout in his live well, and suddenly the posse heard about this because I think the fishing game showed up and they said, son, you can't have trout. And I think the boat was on the trailer, if I remember correctly. Like he was there where they had just stocked the trout. And the boat was on the trailer. He wasn't even fishing, but he's catching these trout and he's putting them in the live well. And he's going to take them home. End of the day. Fresh trout for Aaron. Eat them raw. Do his little crazy stuff he likes to. Eat the eyeballs because they got more protein. Maybe they're healthier for you.
Did you really eat the eyeballs?
No, I'm just saying. Sounds like Aaron, doesn't it? It's like, dude, the eyeballs give you the best calcium deposits. You gotta eat the eyeballs.
Bro, I don't know how you live life. Bro, how can you live without fish eyeballs?
So Aaron Aaron got written up by the fishing game, and of course, everybody called him a live trout fisherman. Aaron would never fish a
No.
live trout ever. And the posse, this militia, and I'm not saying Folkstad actually was part of that one, but there was the veteran anglers that were really beating the crap out of us.
Yeah.
I drew Folkstad when I set the record for Bassmaster. I drew him on the last day or the second to last day. It's a great whole story of the whole process of catching 83 pounds. That the swim bait bite was definitely unheard of back then, and I knew I had baits that nobody else had. And I draw Folkstad, and we go out, and the whole time he's bugging me for this bait when to give him one, and I'm like, man, I don't have very many of these. I go, let me get my limit first. When I catch my limit, he every time I catch one, it was back when you had nets. You were allowed to use nets. And this is, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this story, but the camera guy pointed out, he goes, dude, Folkstad is lunging at each of your fish, like lunging at them when they come up. His netting technique was to poke it. And the camera guy goes, dude, he's doing everything he can to get those fish off your hook. And it was bad. I'd be like, get it. And he would whack the fish with the net.
Get it all right.
I get it. I'm trying to win the tournament, and Folkstad is in my boat, and he's like mad at me because I won't give him a lure, so he's knocking my fish, like hitting them, poking them with the net. And I'm like, and Mike and I had been butting heads for a while at this point, and to draw him, I'm like, dude, I will give you a bait. Let me just get enough to win this tournament. Let me get, because I don't have a lot of these baits. These are primitive. I think I showed it to you on the last podcast. These are super primitive swim baits. And I don't have a lot of them, and I certainly don't want to give it to Folkstad and have him, win the tournament in the back of my boat on my bait, like I did with Skeet at Gunnersville, unfortunately.
You did.
I gave the bait to Skeet, and he won Gunnersville. So anyway, I didn't want to do that back then with Folkstad. I wasn't rooming with him like I was with Skeet, but I ended up the camera guys, everybody said, dude, that guy tried his best to knock off every fish that you hooked. And I knew he was the hardest dude I've ever, besides Gary Klein. I guess we got to go to that story.
Oh, boy.
Besides Gary Klein, that was one of my toughest draws. Gary Klein and Folkstad were my two worst draws. And I love you, Gary. It was when you were young and when I was young and you played mind games with me. It was a different, it wasn't Gary Klein now. It was Gary Klein when he was the Gary Klein. He was the Klein.
Well, it's competition. I mean, things... Dude, in the sport, you talked about the Lions and stuff. I mean, football, things, people do what they can. You know what I mean? So You made a perfect segue. So let's go to your Gary Klein story, because that was that is number 2 of the 3 requested stories you teased.
Let me see what time it is. What time we got?
Oh, my God. Byron, you can't play this hard to share. Damn,
I got to pick my daughter from school, but we're good. We're totally fine.
We're good. All
right. But these are great stories. I know they got like long bandwidth. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
This was not as bad. It's not as long. The Train Bridge one was long, and so will the other one, the Talladega Nights one, as you called it. But Gary Klein. All right. So I won 2 U.S. Opens, and I think I told you the story about I started off not catching any bass at my U.S. Opens. So when I was a kid in college, I'd save up all my money, ate up with bass fishing all the Redmans and the regional stuff, all the regional weekend warrior stuff. But every year, save up your money to fish the U.S. Open. And long before I won the first U.S. Open at 25 or 26, I would save up my money as a kid, and I would go to the U.S. Open. And fishing was tough at me back then. And I think I told you, I drew Rick Clunn, and he caught 2 fish. I mean, I know some of the people haven't seen the previous show. I draw Rick Clunn. We fish all day long. In the middle of the day, he catches 2 back to back. So I come in that day with none, like most of the time, and Rick Clunn comes in with just 2, because drawing Rick Clunn, he even told me, he goes, I'm not on him. He goes, you want to take your boat? And I go, Mr. Clunn, I don't have a boat. He laughs because he's got this college kid who doesn't even have a boat, who paid $1,600 or $1,300 back then, which was a lot of money to fish the U.S. Open. And I'm fishing it without a boat. So every day I draw a guy, pro draw. You got to go pro draw, no shared weight, none of this other stuff. And I'm there without a boat, just a passion to fish, just a love for fishing, hoping to win a boat. This is a cool story. Back then at the U.S. Open, every day the big fish won a brand new boat. Every day. It was a boat fish every day. You could fish every day for a Skeeter bass boat. This is in the heyday of the U.S. Open. And you'd catch a fish, and you'd say, boat fish. Like you'd have a big one on because if it was the biggest fish that day, it won a boat. How cool is that? So I was always thinking I was going to win my first boat. And I mean, it's just all you had to do was catch a 4 or 5 pounder at Mead. I had Keith Brashears was in the back of my boat, and he won a boat. He won a boat fish. He was in the back of my boat with a spook, catches a fish. He's from back east. He reels this fish in, flips it in, throws it down, puts it in live well, goes to fishing. I go, dude, what did you just do? And he goes, I got a good one. You know, he's from Missouri, Keith Brashears. So was it Keith Brashears? The guy that owns Warhawk spinnerbaits or something like that. Anyway, I wish I remembered all my facts, but the dude puts the fish in the live well, goes back, makes another cast. And I go, dude, you just won a boat. And he goes, no, man. He goes, that's a good one. I go, dude, we're on Lake Mead, and that's a boat fish. Like, that's the biggest fish of the whole day right there. For sure, you just won a boat. Because it's like a solid 4.5, 5 pound bass. And he won a boat. You know, that was another story, but boat fish back then. So I always dreamed of winning a boat, drawing these pros as a college kid back before the kid won in the back of my boat, won a boat fish. But in my young days, I would go without a boat there, hoping to just have a showing, do something. And I'd go there with my mom and my girlfriend at the time, and we'd all go there. It was a big deal. Stay at the Tropicana, kid from the California in college, saving up his money.
Looking like this.
Oh, way younger than that. I can show you a picture, but it's a lot younger looking, dude. It's way younger. And I won't go dig pictures out, but it was that. So I draw Gary Klein, and the night before I was pretty frustrated because I had blanked the day before, and I'm really wanting to catch a fish because at the weigh-in there's my mom and my girlfriend at the time, my college sweetheart, and I'm wanting to walk up and weigh in. Would be really nice. Your friends, your family are there. You'd like to weigh in, and I was cursed. I couldn't catch a bass at the U.S. Open to save my life, and I draw Gary Klein. And we get in the car, and he sees that I'm kind of bummed out, and we're driving to the lake together. And he goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "Oh, I'm having a problem with my girlfriend. We're fighting." He goes, "Oh, really? What about?" I go, "Whatever. We're making small talk on the way to the lake together." So he can tell I'm different from the night before. Like I'm kind of bummed out the next morning, and he just sees a personality change. And we go fishing together. And I go, "We're going to take your boat." I go, "Is it okay if I fish up front with you?" And he goes, "Well, I prefer you don't." And I go, "Well, okay, but if I can't fish up front with you, then on my half of the day, are you going to fish in the back of your boat?" It's an honest question. If I'm not allowed to be up there with you, because what we're doing is we're targeting these reefs with crankbaits. It's down in the gyp beds, and there's these shadow pockets in the reefs, and it's real obvious what he's doing. He's running these long reefs that have a shadow pocket to him, and he's firing, and I'm in the back of the boat, and I'm fishing completely dead water. So I'm like, am I going to be able to fish up front with you? And he goes, no. And I'm like, well, then I think on my half the day, I'm going to have to ask you to go to the back of the boat. Well, Gary Klein didn't like that at all. Like, he's like, it's fair because if I'm not allowed in the front, then you shouldn't be allowed in the front. We got to share the boat, share the water. I'll go to my own water. I'll get off yours. But he was being abrasive. It wasn't going that great. So it was, well, fine, come up here. So then we're up there and I time it. You know the deal now. So now you're fishing against this guy and we're going down these long breaks. I wait till his bait gets about halfway back, and then I make a fresh cast. Like, right, I make a fresh cast to some fresh water. Like, I can see the shade pocket and the next spot I need to cast. So by the time he gets in, I'm hitting some good water, and then he's firing because this is a really tough lake to fish. And all you're going to get is like 1 or 2 fish off a spot, maybe at the most. And you're not going to catch anything if you're fishing behind a guy throwing a crankbait in dead water. And I had to be fishing the fresh water too if we're just going to share the boat and share the water. And so we're hopscotching as we're going down a ledge. And he goes, you should probably listen to what your girlfriend said. Maybe she's right about what he started bringing up my girlfriend and our fight in the middle of the day. Honestly. I remember going, what? And he started going on about like, maybe I was at fault for the fight that I was having with my college girlfriend. And I'm like, whoa, we're fishing. Like, that's the last thing on your mind, right? You're in a tournament. All of your stuff is back at the dock. I am 100% laser focused on where that next crankbait is going to land. And if it's going to come off that ledge, right? If a bass is going to come out of that shade pocket and eat it, I don't need my college girlfriend's fight in my head. And Klein brought it right back in, brought it right around, and brought it right into that boat. And I mean, it was a tough day. Again, he caught like 3 fish or 4 fish that day. I didn't catch any that day. And I was like, man, that was a pretty good mind, getting in someone's head. He got really
Wow.
good in the head on that one. So that's my Gary Klein story.
So you think it was straight up like he was just like, oh, I'll distract this kid, tell him about the trials and tribulations of his
It came in.
relationship.
When I got aggressive up front, that conversation never came up until I started making casts that he didn't like because they were timed perfectly to put my bait in fresh water. Mercer, it was obvious. I mean, I'm in college. I'm an English major, a philosophy major. I'm Mr. Brainiac at the time. I'm not as dead as I am now. My head is not as cloudy and unfocused. Like I was pretty sharp as a pre-law student, and I could see things and read things. And I'm like, this dude waited till about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning when it became obvious that I was shoulder to shoulder with him in the front of his boat, and we were sharing water, and I was being effective. Like it was effectively happening. It was getting good. And that's when he said, I got to shut this kid down. I got to shut him down. Best way to do that, bring up the fight with the girlfriend. And
Wow.
it was a classic. Gary, if you're watching, it's a classic Gary Klein move back then when he was young and he was aggressive. And now he's the nicest guy in the world. I love him and his wife.
Wow. So many
No hard
things.
feelings, Gary. It was just it was when we were young and very competitive.
So many things happened like with those like I don't even remember who it was. So I'm not even going to guess at who it was because I'm not certain on who told me the story. But I remember someone telling me the story when they fished their first open. So they had told the guy they were with, somebody said, hey, just be real open. And you guys say, I need to be here. We're going to split. So they had told, like, I got a big fish ahead right here that he's, I think he was on a bed or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'll give you space or whatever. So dude's like lining up. And this is whoever it was. This was their first draw tournament. And he's lining up and getting ready for this fish. And the guy goes, your big fish is right there? And he says, yeah, off the second piling closest to the shore. He goes, okay. So he's lining up and Buddy's giving him all the room in the world. And he's about to cast and he's like, hey, how big's that fish? He says. And he goes, oh, it's big. It's 8, 9, 10 pounds. It's like, it's a giant. And he goes, you might want to retie.
No.
Again, this could be urban myth, but the person who told me it, I remember the story being told to me, and it sounded legit. And he's like, oh, yeah, I probably should. So he sits down to retie. Fring! Curse! Dude roasts the fish and said, oh, I thought you meant those other two pilots.
No way! Oh my gosh, that sounds like such a bad tour event story, but that is a monster of a hoodwink.
Oh, you know what happened? I mean,
you don't know the names. Do you know the names and you're holding them back because you don't want to say?
No, I'm not certain of the name, so I don't want to put. So you know what I mean? Like if it's not who I'm thinking of, but it doesn't need a name. I mean, it's just.
It's great when you were bed fishing. This is so funny because you just remind me of something. I drew Guido Hibden at Rayburn. And Guido Hibden was a sight fisherman back then, but little did he know that I was a West Coast sight fisherman, and I won my first U.S. Open when I was 25 bed fishing. Like, so I had been bed fishing. That's the first thing I was good at. Like as a kid, I figured out bed fishing at a very young age, and you could just go around a lake and pick off bed fish, and nobody knew how to do it. And Guido Hibden was a sight fisherman like Shaw Grigsby back in the day. So I drew Guido at Rayburn and Mercer. When there's two pros on a bed fish, you're fishing the fish, and he pulls up to a fish, and I'm like, well, I guess we're fishing this fish. I mean, there's like one fish, and he's zeroed in on it, and it's pro draw, and you're both looking at it, and he's shaking that little gets it. Remember we talked? A gets it is a thing that's like a tube with the little tentacles on the back for the younger viewers.
The fat gets it.
A fat gets it. A tube-looking thing with tentacles on the back. But he's throwing this gets it, and I'm throwing my black ringworm, and I got all my tricked out little bed fishing baits because he told me we were going to be sight fishing, and it was spring, and we fished a little bit of offshore stuff, but we were bed fishing, and about the time the fish turns off of his bait and starts looking at mine, because we're both fishing the same bed fish, he'd reel in and slap the bait on the water. No kidding. And I'm like, I love Guido Hibden. It's like one of my heroes, like Gary Klein, everybody else. But I'm like, wow, we're going to play like that, huh? So, I mean, we're fishing, And once again, the fish looks at it, gets it, looks at my black ringworm, kind of likes the black ringworm, runs over to it, starts bowing up on it, starts getting up on it. Here's my little black ringworm. And all of a sudden, Guido reels in and splashes the water again, skips his bait right across the bed and splashes all the water and, screws the fish up. And I'm like, we're not saying a word, Mercer. We're not saying a word to each other. But now Guido's changes his to a black gets it. I remember he put it to a black gets it, throws it out there, and now the black gets it's coming through the bed, and the fish goes over to his black gets it and is looking at it. And I go, son of a gun. I reel in, I splash the water, and he grunts. Guido goes, all Guido does, he goes, and I reel in, and he fishes and I fishes. He goes, well, let's go. This isn't going to work. And that was the end of our bed fishing. That's all.
Gosh.
Neither one of us caught the fish, and we both realized we could screw. Well, I realized I had to pay him back, but when he started getting that activity, dude, it was Pro Draw was a monster.
Yeah.
Pro Draw was a beast, and I love Guido. We had a great time, but at that very moment, we both knew we couldn't bedfish with each other because he knew enough about it, and I knew enough about it that neither one of us was going to catch that fish. We were going to let the other one catch it.
Wow.
At Raven. Yeah, true story.
It's competition, though. That's how. I mean, I think that one of the disservices that this sport has had over the years. I mean, I love clearly with what we've talked about. I love everything about the sport. Yeah. But there has been like a little bit of fakery out there where everybody's like, oh, everybody's vanilla. Whoever wins, we're going to cheer for. And in competition, people in other sports, it's celebrated. I mean, Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. I mean, that got celebrated. But in fishing, it's almost like, oh, no, nobody doesn't ever get along. And that people think this is new, but it's been happening forever. I mean, and I bet even more back then.
Remember Aaron and I at Falcon?
Oh, yeah.
But, Aaron and I at Falcon, and everybody, we were dear friends, but people took that and ran with it. I could imagine what it would be like if that aired now with social media being what it is. I can't imagine the trolls and everything else, and Aaron and I reconciled and, we were we were good and everything was that we put all that behind us after a short while, but the primitive internet, watching the Falcon showdown between me and Aaron on a spot that I invited him to come in on. I mean, I said, come on over because he's my friend, and Aaron, come here. They're loaded here. And then we catch hundreds of pounds off this one foundation at Falcon, but that's just another example of, like you said, of Talladega Nights, or the Earnhardt thing. It's back when there was, man, they really played up the drama for Bassmaster Television, for me and Aaron on Falcon. And it got I had a lot of people ask me about that, up until he passed away, thinking that we were at each other's throats. We were like lifetime enemies. I'm like, oh my God, no, dear friends that put it behind us, but had an altercation on the water because of the last day, things going the way they went.
It's sports. It's competition. You look at, I mean, I'm obviously a huge Chiefs fan. If you look when they played the Raiders a few weeks ago, Max Crosby is trying to take Patrick Mahomes' head off the whole time, like screaming at him and everything. But the first two guys to walk up to each other, I think Max Crosby's exact words were, hey, go get another one, brother. Like, go win another Super Bowl. They're divisional rivals. Like, it's competition. I think Paul Nick once said it in one of those doc interviews. He said, as long as I have one foot on this, we all love each other. Mm-hmm. But he says, when both my feet are on the boat, I want to beat them all. And that's how you have to be and how you should be, I think. Mm-hmm. Talladega Nights, John Gerard, however you want to pronounce it. You were the original slap. What happened?
The slap heard around the world. Oh my gosh. And I can't believe I'm going to tell this story because I haven't told this one in forever, ever, never. Like, so Pro Draw. I'm on fish. I'm on fish pretty good. I'm once again, we're back at Rayburn on this one. Twin Dykes Marina. Never forget this. And I draw Twin Dyke. You remember Twin Dyke Marina, right?
Yeah.
Twin Dykes right down there at the thing. Yeah. So I draw a kid the first day. And do I say his name or do I not say his name?
I mean, that's totally up to you. Before we even go any further, I got to say this. Everything is just
Just
We're just
between us
talking.
here.
We're just
This is
talking.
just
I mean, that's
confidential.
all.
We're
Yeah,
just talking. Nobody's
nothing's
watching. It's just
official.
you and me. You shut that thing off right there.
Yeah.
Here we are. There.
Good show. Great show, Byron. Tell me that story now.
I'm not going to say his name. I'll leave it out.
All right.
I don't know what his story is, and I don't want to get I'll leave it out, even though I want to say it in the worst way. And all the guys on tour back then know exactly who it was. I draw this kid whose parents have a lot of money, and he basically had plenty of money to go fishing. And somehow he ended up on the tour. But back then, I think it was more of if you had the money, because like there wasn't the big qualification process. It was the tour, but it was kind of like you could just get in through sponsor exemptions, and companies could get you in if you had a boat. It wasn't like you had to go out and really go through the Q school like you do now. You know what I mean? And that's to that point. That's why Voga Reed was in my boat. Voga didn't qualify, I don't believe, through a series of tournaments to be there. It was just that we were in our infancy of the big Bassmaster tour with Ray Scott hosting it, and it was glorious days. It was before Fishburne was hosting it. Ray Scott was still emceeing these events.
Fish was fishing.
Fish was fishing. I fished with Fish. We'd roomed together. So Fishburne was fishing them with us. To that point, exactly.
Claude.
What?
Claude
Fishburne. Yes, Claude. And so I drew this kid who didn't have a very good reputation, but I didn't know that till after the incident that I'm about to tell you. And I draw the kid, and he's like, I got nothing. I go, well, I'm catching them. And so we'll just take my boat. And he goes, great. And so we go out, and we're fishing all around, and we're catching fish. And I got a really good pattern going. Big swim baits, cowbells back then. They were like cowbells, big, giant, like ounce and a half swim baits, big, giant willow leaf blades on it. It was literally like throwing a cowbell out there, and it would thump the rod. And you would go to these grassy long points around Farmers Flats, and you'd be out on Farmers Flats throwing these big these big spinner baits out there, and slow rolling the spinner bait, thump, 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 and it would pop through the grass, and these fish would smoke it. And I had an amazing run going. I had gotten second by myself in an Angler's Choice tournament shortly before this event, and I had like 20. It was my first almost 30-pound bag, which was unheard of for me as a kid out west, to catch a 30-pound bag. But I had I can't remember if it was over 30 or under 30, but it was right in that crazy weight. Bud Pruitt walked up out. He goes, you catch him? I'm like, dude, I got him. Like, I got him so good, I don't know what I got. He opened the well. He goes, oh, my gosh. And they're just all big uns, And that was all on Rayburn, Farmers Flats. And I'm a West Coast kid, but I figured out this big spinnerbait on these grass lines, and these big fish were eating it. And I had like a 9 or a 10 and 8 and a 6, and I walk up, and like I said, I had like either a close above or below, but right in that 30-pound mark, which to me was unbelievable because I'd never seen such a thing back then. And then the Bassmaster tour comes to town. I'm on the same bite. It's not as good as it was for the Angler's Choice tournament that I fished. So I get this kid in my boat, but we're catching them. We have a good day. I have like 16, 15 pounds or whatever. He catches like 12 out of the back of my boat. But I draw a guy who's in like 5th place who had like 22 pounds. And you know the rule, right? Like the rule is on a pro draw, you go with the guy that's doing well. You don't flip him a coin. You don't tell him I caught 17 pounds. I can catch more tomorrow. We got to, this guy's got 22 pounds and he's in the top 10. And I got like 16, 17 pounds, but I got to defer to the guy. I'm like, well, I got fish. And he goes, well, I'm wrecking them out in Black Forest. If the guys that are watching, if they know Rayburn, Farmers Flats, Black Forest, and he wants to run up to Black Forest. And so I wish I could remember his name too, but I'm old. So too old to remember anybody's name. A known pro, but a young guy, a young known pro from back east, probably a Texan or somewhere out there, but he was a raker. He was just a Texas type raker guy, real good fisherman. And he had these ditches in Black Forest, and 22 pounds, man, we're going to your stuff. I got stuff to go to too. Well, Todd is well aware of the fact. He sees me the next morning, and I'm not. He paid attention because he knew I drew a guy in the top 10. And of course, we go to the guy's fish, 22 pounds fish ditch area, and it ain't happening. He catches like a 4-pounder right off the bat, and then it ain't happening. And it ain't happening at all. To the point where at about 11 o'clock, he goes, you got anything? I go, yeah, I do. I can save us. I got my stuff, and we haven't even gone to it yet. So let's roll. He goes, cool. So we go down there, and as we come around the corner to my very best dot there's Todd's boat sitting there. Oh, did I say his name? Whoops. There's the guy's boat sitting there. Whoops.
There are
Sorry.
a lot of Todds.
There were a lot of Todds, and it's
Yeah.
not Todd Faircloth. Anybody that guesses Todd, if you private chat this and guess it, I will confirm it, but I will not say it. But this guy
Could have
Todd,
been LL Cool J. That's his real name, Todd.
yeah, Todd. Maybe it was LL Cool J made the tour that year. He had a lot of money, and maybe life of me. That was it. I love LL Cool J. So Todd, not Faircloth, love Faircloth, great guy, Todd Faircloth. You know, I'm being like Trump right now. Not Todd.
Maybe the
Not
best Todd.
Yeah, you're the best, Todd. Todd, love you. You know, and not new. I feel like I'm rambling like Trump right now when I do that. So I pull around the corner, and there's the Todd sitting on the spot. And as he sees the boat coming, he knows it's us, and he pulls up the trolling motor, and he starts idling away. And I'm like, let's go talk to him. And the guy that's with me, he's talking to me. He goes, dude, we need to fish. We need to catch fish. I'm in like 8th place. You're like in 30th place or 28th place or whatever you are. We're both in the money, and we need to fish. And I'm like, but. And I'm watching the boat go away, you know, Todd's boat go away. And he goes, dude, this is your best spot. Let's fish it. So we start fishing at my spot. And within sight of that spot is another one of my spots. And I'm like, oh, he better not be running over to that point over there. And as I'm fishing that spot, I watch Todd run across the lake and shut down at the other spot. So I am lividly flipped out. And I'm fishing, and the guy's going, you know, hey, man, help us out here. Let's talk. And I'm shaking, and I'm watching this. And I don't remember if we're catching maybe one or two or whatever, but it was irrelevant to me. I'm just seeing red. Whether we're catching them or not was not the issue now. I'm like, let's go there next, right to where that boat is, because he just went to my other best spot. He was, all right, let's go. So as we're running there, we're getting close, and the guy, he's picking up the trolling motor again. He's trying to avoid us, right? And I go, oh my God. And so as we shut down, I go, dude, if he goes over there, and I point to the next spot, right? I go, if he hits all of these main points right here, and so this guy is like, dude, you need to protest him. Like, you got to protest him. He goes, I'm a witness to this. You're telling me where he's going to go next. And he's staying out of yelling range, staying away from us. But he's out there, and as he sees the boat coming, he runs away. And I'm like freaking out, man, because we're fishing all these spots, and I'm having to literally take my milk run and compete with my partner for day one, who is staying out of yelling range. But the guy in my boat goes, you need to talk to Dewey Kendrick again. You need to talk to Dewey about this. I'm on your side. This is wrong. We got to protest him. This is totally unsportsmanlike. So this guy's got me fired up. We're both not catching him. I don't even remember what we caught or didn't caught, because it was a whole nother, my mindset was totally gone. And I can't remember the gist of how the day went with us. All I remember is we got to the weigh-in, and I'm done. We had fish, because obviously we're weighing in. So we pull up the boat to the weigh-in over there, and we go get our bags. And I'm like, Dewey, I got to talk to you. I mean, I'm freaking out. And the guy, we weighed our fish. So we go up on the scale, we weigh our fish, and now we're going to find the tournament master, to the guy, the tournament director, Dewey. And he comes marching up with me, my guy, and he goes, hey, man, he goes, he's got to talk to you. I witnessed it. And Dewey's like, Byron, and whatever the guy's name was, he goes, I ain't got time for this right now. He goes, you guys handle it. You handle it. And that's what he told me to do, was handle it. And I'm like, fair game. I'll handle it. So, you know, they have the board over there where the partner pairing is for the next day. I walk over to the partner pairing, and there he is. And Todd's waiting around trying to find his partner. And I walk up to Todd and I go, hey, man, what the hell are you like? I mean, I light up on the guy. And he's like, well, no, I really wasn't fishing your spots. I was fishing up to them. And he goes, and I wasn't fishing where you were fishing, you and I were fishing. I was just fishing, 100 yards further down. As a matter of fact, I want to let you know I found something else. Like he's trying to tell me more about my areas. This is where I already caught like 30 pounds in a tournament, a short while back, when the lake was open for fishing, in a tournament just a month or two before, whatever it was, when we were out there practicing. I know these spots like the back of my hand. This is my milk run we're talking about. And I got Todd telling me where, and I'm like, dude, you ran to every one of the spots I took you. And he's like, well, no, not really. I was kind of fishing. And I'm like, dude, I go, you had no business being there. And he goes, well, I didn't catch him anywhere else. I caught him good today, so I'm probably going to go back tomorrow. And then I made the mistake. Now, this is the joke, because I was from California at the time. and I slapped him. I slapped him across the face. Like I just slapped him. I wasn't a good old Texan. I didn't just punch him in the ground. I mean, they were laughing because they're like, you hear that guy from California slap that guy? I have California plates on my truck. I got long hair, and I slapped him across the face. and I was like, what? I mean, I just open-handedly whacked him across the face. I go, Todd, you had no business being there today, and you know it. Do not show up there tomorrow because it will be really ugly for you if you do. Like I was going to kill him, but I slapped him, and that's all I did. Open-handed. That was it. And we go back to the boat, and we get in the boat. Byron Velvick, if you're here, Byron Velvick, could you please come to the landstand? Byron Velvick, please come to the landstand. Oh my God, dude, Kendrick's paging me. This is not going to be good. Byron Velvick, please come to the landstand. I walk over there. Byron, come with me. Remember Dewey Kendrick?
Yeah.
He was about 4 foot tall. Byron Velvick, he walks me around to the back of the whole grandiose thing for Bassmaster with all the crowd and everything in the front. Byron Velvick, did you slap Todd? I won't say his last name. I almost did. Did you slap Todd blankety blank? And I'm like, what? And he goes, did you hit? Did you hit blankety blank? I'm like, what? He goes, did you hit Todd? And I'm like, well, no, I slapped him in the face to get my point across because he said he was going to fish my fish again, but you told me to handle it. He goes, I told you to handle it. I didn't tell you to go off and hit him. I go, I didn't hit him. I slapped him across the face when he said he was going to go back to my spot the next day. Mercer, as God is my witness, he goes, Byron, he goes, you are banned from Bass for life. And I was like, what? And he goes, take your stuff, go home. You are banned from Bass for the rest of your life. And I mean, it was whoosh, like floodgates whoosh. Dewey Kendrick banned me from Bass at my very young age for the rest of my life. And I lost it. And I mean, Clun was my mentor at the time. And he talked me from, I was going to go because I knew where Todd was staying.
If you're kicked out, you might as well.
I'm going to go out. My lower unit and Todd's face were going to be put together multiple times. I was going to pull the boat up there. I was going to take Todd's head, his little bitty head. He was a small man. There's a hint who this little Todd guy was. And I was going to smush his head into my lower unit till my prop was blood red. I wanted to kill the dude. And I'm like, I have nothing to lose. I've been banned from Bass. At the time, Bass Cat was my sponsor. Ron Pierce was there. Ron said, we will get you back in. Don't worry. Rick Clun said the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That's ridiculous. And there was this whole surge from the guys. And I didn't know this. Fun fact. There was a knee-jerk reaction from Dewey Kendrick because, and Rick Clun told me this. Rick's like, you do realize why this happened, right? Because for a while, do you remember Bassmaster got into the saltwater scene?
Yeah.
You remember Dewey was running those tournaments? Dewey was running the saltwater inshore tournaments. Well, there was a protest filed down in Louisiana at Venice, or maybe it was Galveston Bay. But there was a bad situation that happened, and Dewey got knocked out by an angler.
Come on.
Knocked out, knocked across the stage. He didn't want nobody hitting nobody because Dewey got flattened across his back and knocked into the freaking the stage. They said the canopies fell down because he disqualified one of those roughneck Gulf oil derrick dudes. You know what I'm talking about? You don't mess with those guys, man. They don't slap you like a California guy. They don't slap you in the face. I mean, these guys took Dewey Kendrick out. And he protested. A team got protested. He disqualified him. They went to the awards ceremony, and they knocked Dewey on his ass. And that is why Dewey is, by the time when I slapped Todd, it was like, oh, no, we're not doing that here. We don't even have this happening here. Let's get Byron out of here because he's liable to be like those guys on the Gulf Coast that knock a dude out. They banned me for life. All my peers, thank God, rallied around me. Larry Nixon, came up and shook my hand and said, dude, if anybody had it coming, it was that guy. I had more pros come up to me. And I mean, I go on and on. It was so many of them that came up to me and were like, dude, they all drew him and they all had hell to pay for drawing him. If he didn't, he would literally take his boat and go back to your spots and fish against you on your water while you were there. Like he was a rich kid that had zero etiquette. I happened to be gone for the first half of the day while my spots got blistered by him, and he caught him on it. So he had a decent day the second day. Best thing he could do was get rid of me the third day, send me home. I drove back to California in my Astrovan with my Bass Cat on the third day of the tournament, tears coming out my eyes.
Thinking your career, your dream, your career, it's over.
Everything's over. Everything I had fought for, everything I had saved up all my life for, dream come true, still golf balling to pay the bills, still rubbing nickels together, very few sponsors, just not lucrative at all yet, just trying to build a career. And Todd, almost said his last name again, had destroyed all that. And I wanted to kill Todd, but I went home because literally it was Clun and Ron Pierce from Bass Cat. Rest in peace. Ron, dear friend of mine. He was my first sponsor. My first Mercury was my first sponsor, but Ron Pierce and Bass Cat were also one of my first big sponsors. And between Mercury and Bass Cat, they were like, we're not going to let this happen. You're not going to be banned for life. You're an asset to us, and we love you. And Man's Bait Company, Frank Ulrich, everybody went to bat for me. And then the pros went to bat for me because they said this kid had it coming. They said, he deserved. They wanted to kill him too. So this kid had such a bad reputation that I stayed. I was out for the rest of that year because the season was almost over, and so I got invited back to come the next year, and that was it. That was the slap heard around the world. Slap.
What did Todd do? Like when you slapped him? Like I would feel like if a man slaps you, you're gonna like. Did you just like take it?
He just slapped. I slapped him, and he just looked at me. I think he was so embarrassed for what he had done. And I think that it was afterwards he realized if he protested me, maybe he could go fishing on my spots again. I think he just wanted to get those spots to himself. Like he didn't do anything. He was just sitting there kind of more than anything shocked and still embarrassed because I was laying into him and people were listening. And the guy that fished with me was right there with me on it. He's like, dude, you are a scumbag, dude. You need to go find your own fish and we shouldn't have to compete with you. He was right there with me. And it wasn't much more than a wake up kind of slap. It wasn't like I didn't, and that's where all the jokes were. California slap, any Texan would have knocked him on his butt. And then Dewey Kennedy really freaked out because he got knocked on his butt in a saltwater tournament. So Dewey would have lost his mind. And I didn't knock him in the dirt. He didn't fall down. I wish I could remember the Talladega Night slap, but I don't remember if it had the same.
He takes his glove off and slaps him though. Does the glove slap? I mean,
it's right there.
Yeah.
It's that minimal, but it cost me. It almost cost me my whole career if I wouldn't have had sponsors to save my butt.
Wow. What the 5 fish say to the scale? Slap.
Oh my God. I love telling that. I'm reliving that story right now. My gosh, the slap heard around the world. Who brought that up to you? We were at the Hall of Fame thing. Who was it? Murray said, ask Byron about the slap.
Dude, I pulled out my phone immediately. Like I one thing I've tried to work on this year is being really present. You know what I mean? Like I've turned my phone off. I leave it in my office a lot of times at night. But when I'm at events like this, I just hate when you're talking to people and they're always. But I said, I'm taking my phone out. I'm going to forget some of these.
You were doing your research at the Hall of Fame event. Not only were you hosting the thing, but you were also doing research.
It just started flowing, and I wasn't going to stop it.
Oh,
it's incredible. Sometimes a man needs slapped.
Hey, man, like you said at the beginning of this podcast, you got to have balls. You got to have balls to slap a guy. Anybody can punch somebody in the face, but when you're masculine enough just to slap a guy and feel okay about it, that's you got to have golf balls, but you got to have balls. That's the title of this podcast.
I just feel really bad for anybody named Todd that fished tournaments back then.
They're all being
everybody
Googled
in
right
the
now.
comments going to be like,
every one of the old timers right now, every one of your old timers that fished with him or knew him know exactly what I'm talking about because he had nightmare after. I can't tell you how many people shook my hand. I can't tell you how many people gave me attaboys at the Bassmaster Classic at iCast. We used to go to iCast. They're like, dude, I heard what you did to Todd. Kudos to you. Man, he had it coming. Like anybody that's watching this thing that fished with us back then was like, damn right that guy had it coming. He was a piece of junk, and I simply slapped him. But boy, Dewey jumped on me for it.
Enough violence in this sport.
I don't want this. I know what the saltwater guys are like, and we're never going back.
Oh,
I mean, imagine the person that was there told me that Dewey got knocked down and went into the drapes that they have on the stage, and the drapes came out.
Oh my God.
It was like a cave-in. Poor Dewey got knocked, and he was knocked back into the back of the stage and took the drapes with him.
Oh, the great Dewey Kendrick. I mean, he just got inducted into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame just a few years ago.
I know. I saw that when we were there together. I saw that when we were there. Oh my God, you did a great job, by the way. You hosting it was phenomenal.
No,
You did a fantastic job. It was a joy.
Next year, I'm just going to go up there and be like, "Hey guys, while you're looking at auction items, here's a little bit of history lesson with Byron Velvick. Story time."
Story time. No, I want Johnny Morris to still like me. Johnny was real nice to me, and him and his wife were very kind. And I don't want Johnny Morris not to look at me sideways when he knows that I'm slapping people at the tournament.
Yeah, the great Johnny Morris. By the way, also in the cards, a Johnny Morris card. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, dude, you are just pulling them out.
I mean, they're just Gary Klein. I mean,
there's my guy. That's about the time. That's when he was hot and heavy, and that's when he was a aggressive dude.
He was 35 in this picture.
Wow.
35. So he was the age of Brandon Polinick, basically. I think Polinick's right around 36 or something like that.
That's probably about the time I drew him. So that's probably about the, I don't know. What how old is he?
He's kind of ageless. He's one of those dudes.
On the back of the card, does it say their birthday?
No, it just says that. Well, in yes, actually, he was born in 1957, October 11th, 1957.
Yeah.
So how old would that make?
He's 68 now.
Yeah.
68 or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been about that. So 35 would have been about a little bit earlier than that was when I drew the guy, because I was still in college. I was still in college saving my money up to fish those tournaments without a boat, because it took me forever. I had to save all my money. My mom was a school teacher, and my dad was gone, so I didn't get my first boat till I was in my early 20s.
Wow. Those are
different world, man.
But is it though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know you've been busy with your daughter and everything you've been taking care of at home. But if you look at the tournament circuit now, like, because of social media, people think all this stuff is new, like these arguments, these disagreements. It happened like not everybody slapped another man open-handedly, but I mean, was there a tournament that passed that there wasn't disgruntlement or somebody talking about, you're not going to believe what so-and-so did while we were on the water? I mean, was it that common?
No, of course it was common. It was super common, and there was all kinds of crazy backs. You could do a whole bunch of shows with a bunch of the pros of all, especially the pro draw. You can imagine all the stuff that went down when it was two pros in the same boat, and the stories they had to tell, where the fights were happening in the boat amongst each other,
like in the boat while they were competing.
Oh yeah, Rick Clun told a guy to go to the bank. Rick Clun told the legend, take me to the bank. I mean, the legend was unbelievable. And I drew the legend, and Rick Clun came up to me, again, my mentor, a young kid. He goes, I just want you to know what's going to happen to you today does not reflect upon bass and most of the anglers that fish it. Rick warned me before I went fishing with this guy how bad my day was going to be. Come to find out, Rick Clun actually told him to go to the bank to settle this thing on the dirt on the bank.
Todd?
Like there was going to be a fight. I mean,
this was Todd?
What?
This is Todd?
No, this guy's called the legend. This is a whole other guy. This guy, he passed away. This guy was called the legend. He was this crazy dude that was fishing the tour. And I'm talking crazy.
So not the legend is in Harold Allen, not Harold Allen. No.
Nobody that was a namesake guy. Oh. Some weird dude that had a camouflage boat. He wrapped his boat. He had a camouflage painted boat.
Doug Hannon.
Was wrapped back then. What?
Doug Hannon.
No, there's no name to this guy. I mean, he was just a known. He has a rope on his neck. He has a rope, and it's a gold chain, and it's got a bass on it. And he goes, you see this chain? He goes, it won't break because there's 15-pound spider wire. Like the gold chain was holding, like he wanted you to know that the braid that he uses was so good, it was holding the gold bass on his furry neck. And he had the Ron Jeremy furry neck. Ron Jeremy the gopher. And he's like, this chain won't break because of the 15-pound braid. Wackadoodle. Straight
Wow.
wackadoodle. Major
Wow.
wackadoodle. I
Wow.
draw the guy, Mercer, on Lake Powell. I fish Lake Powell. I grew up in the West. I know Lake Powell. Pro draw. He goes, true story, at Lake Powell. Man, we're at Lake Powell. This is my world. I'm a West Coast guy. Pro draw. The Bassmasters come to Lake Powell. I got my boat. I'm ready to go. We're flipping a coin. I'm like, dang it. Against the legend? And Rick Clunn warns me about the legend. He goes, first off, he's going to flip you for the coin no matter who you are or what you do, because he did it to Rick Clunn. He flips everybody so he can be in his camouflage boat. So he's going to flip me for the boat. He wins the flip. And I tell him I want my half the day, and he wants his half the day. So he's like, well, I'll take, I think it was the second half the day. Like, okay, cool. So I want the first half the day. And I know where to go. It's Lake Powell. I'm a West Coast guy. I go to Lake Powell. I go up to the San Juan, and I was catching these fish, and he's not catching them. And he goes, oh, I can't fish like this. This isn't my style of fishing. I'm like, dude, we can both catch a limit here, and the limit's going to be good today. So we're flipping. He goes, we're casting our worms out there, and it's a sandstone, all that stuff. He goes, oh, 10 o'clock, my turn. I'm like, dude, I got 4, and you got 2, and we're going to have a limit by the end of the day if you just stick with me on this. Nope, my turn. He goes, we're going to go do what I want to do. I'm like, all right. He goes, now I'm going to show you how to really catch them. Mercer, this dude leaves my area that had fish. He runs out in the middle of Lake Powell, and he looks for tumbleweeds that have blown down from the giant plateaus. And he thinks he's fishing for Dorado and mahi-mahi in the ocean, and they're suspended under the tumbleweeds. And he pulls up. I see him shut down. I look at the graph. It's 120 feet of water, Dave. It's 120 feet of water. And I look at the graph, and I go, what are we doing? He goes, we're flipping those tumbleweeds. And I'm like, what? And he goes up on the front of the boat, and he starts throwing at the tumbleweed. Mercer, I walk up to the front of the boat. It's crystal clear water. David Fritz called it spigot water. That's what David Fritz called it. You can't catch no bass here. This here is spigot water. Because I love that term. David Fritz nailed it. Spigot water. It's so clear you can see 30 feet below the tumbleweed. The tumbleweed is floating in 120 feet of water in the middle of Lake Powell, blew down from a plateau, and this dude takes his fluorocarbon braid, his high visibility braid, and he flips into that tumbleweed. And I watch the bait go into the tumbleweed and go down, and I look at him, and I'm like, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. And there's high visibility braid going to a tumbleweed, and I see the bait going up and down, and then I see 20 feet below the tumbleweed, and I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm just doing this. I'm like, I'm trying to make sense of this whole thing. I'm like, this is not what we're doing, is it? Oh yeah, this is what we're doing. Hang on to your hat, buddy. And for the next 4 hours, bro, we ran up and down Lake Powell, and I'd go up to the tumbleweed, look at it, make sure there was nothing underneath it, and I'd go sit back down and I would just watch him. And that was my whole day with the legend. His whole half the day, he flipped tumbleweeds with high visibility braid, and literally my beautiful start to the day disintegrated into nothing because I had the legend, and his half the day was his half the day, and we were gonna flip tumbleweeds in 120 foot of water at Lake Powell. Dude, pro draw sucked.
Oh, I can only imagine. That should be the name of your podcast if you come out with one. Pro draws sucked.
Thanks to you, I'm going to do one. It's your fault. It's your fault I'm getting into this world.
No, you need to do it because you have so many stories.
I don't want to tell stories. I want to hear other people's stories. I want to hear your stories. I just want to be the host like you.
Well, mine's nowhere near as exciting as yours. Dude, thank you. But I think not only is this show entertain some people, I would hope, namely me, but number 2, it's proved that don't get all wound up just because people are posting on the internet that, oh gosh, this gentleman's sport needs to be reclaimed. It was never like, it's always been every single, and every, if you spend time talking to professional golfers, I'm sure they got stories. Yeah. I have friends who played professional football. Good Lord, you should see the things that happen in the bottom of those piles. Like, it is horrible. But I mean, People will do things that are a lot worse than slapping a man down there. Um, but it's competition, and
I agree with you. It's always been there, and the internet, and now the woke thing, and the internet thing, and the social media thing, and now it's like everything. Everybody's got a phone so they can record it.
yeah,
That's the thing. We never had a phone. Nobody picked up a phone and started recording. Now, if there's a tragedy, nobody goes to help the people in the tragedy. They just pick up the phone to record it. So
it's true.
it's sad that if there's a problem on a boat, everybody's before they go to the aid of the person or get involved with it or implement, everybody wants to pull back and and push record and start catching it so they can sell it on YouTube or get more likes or whatever. None of that was there.
Yeah,
To your point, it was just his word against my word and talk among each other at the dinner table at the end of the day. And this is before cell phones or during the infancy of cell phones, but to your point, man, it's been there, and you're exactly right, Mercer. It's been there all along, and probably worse back then because there was no accountability. Nobody could pick up a phone and record you.
yeah.
Now,
And nobody benefited from it. Now you got accounts that literally just search for, oh, this is being said, that's being said, and I got to run to I mean, it's just the way that the world is. But
it's sad, the clickbait thing. People are creating drama because they don't have drama. Now you got clickbait where you're trying to make drama happen, and you're just looking to create drama. Whereas back then you tried to avoid it. At least it was coming at you. Fishing was high intensity back then. It was, sponsors. We battled for sponsors. We battled for the money, and everything else. And yeah, there was a lot of personality conflict, but you weren't creating drama. You weren't trying to get likes and enhance your social media presence with drama. So it has changed it a lot, unfortunately.
yeah, it's enough. I mean, this shows a prime example. Like if I call it like Byron Velvick slapped a man, we will get more plays. But I don't care. We're calling it. It takes balls to be a pro angler because it's.
Thank you for that. Yeah, you don't have to go. Byron Velvick slapped a man. It's so sad that it would take that to get people to click on it. Whereas all the other stories have been great too. That it's just fun, man. And I appreciate your audience. I appreciate you. I love doing your podcast, and man, you've inspired me to possibly do one. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'm just kind of working that out with Livingston right now, and how we're gonna make that look. And if you're willing to help, man, I'm gonna call you for sure.
100%. I'm all in. Yeah. You got too many great stories and great connect. You know what I mean? Like so many. Have Todd on the first show. Hey, Todd, I'm starting a podcast.
You remember me? I slapped you at Rayburn. He quit fishing shortly thereafter. He wasn't around very long after that. I mean, it wasn't like he's not a name that anybody would know. He quit fishing like 2 years later. I think that he got ran out of the sport because everybody else was the same way. I mean, it was just, he was so disliked among the pros that, he didn't last real long. He was one of those rich kids from the East Coast, that came and went in a flash.
Well, I can imagine. It's like jail. I mean, you let one guy take your Jell-O at lunch. They're all going to take your Jell-O. I bet you he was, get out of my way,
Don't
Todd.
make me go Byron Velvick on you. Don't make me go Byron Velvick on you. Because I'm not from California. I don't slap. I'm from Texas, Gilmore, Texas, and I will punch you in the nose, buddy. And he'd be like, oh, he got lucky that he had a California long hair, granola eating freak like me.
The only slap you're going to get after that is the slap of your face hitting the pavement. Oh, check out Byron's Bunker, please.
Byron's Bunker. See all those rods over there? They're all going to get sold. There's like 30 rods over there. There's all the reels on the ground. Please check out Byron's Bunker.
Everything.
I got to get rid of all this stuff. I want someone to use it. All these $30 baits. If somebody really fishes with these things, get your live target stuff out, dude. Get your live target stuff out and just sell it, because a lot of it's been discontinued, and all this stuff that's discontinued, somebody wants it. Somebody wants your baits. That's the thing. It's bait that you'll never throw, but somebody out there really wants those $30 limited, discontinued live targets and everything else that I have behind me.
Yeah. Check his eBay store out. I'll put links everywhere. Dude, thank you. Like, honestly, I think you really should start a podcast, but if you don't, you need to keep coming back here. I mean, even if you do start a podcast, I want at least once a quarter. We need story time with Byron Velvick.
Dude,
because each story rolls into a story like it's layers of the onion.
Yeah, like we could go into Falcon. I mean, I'm going to tease it, but we could talk about Aaron and I at Falcon, and there you go for the next time. But all that stuff that was on the internet, I'd love to tell the story of Falcon from start to finish. And I love Aaron, and in memory of Aaron, it would be a great story of what we shared. But it goes to your point of a battle on the water, huge battle on the water that actually got a lot of notoriety because Bassmaster Television aired it, so it was all over on Bassmaster TV with Zona and everything. But there's a great story about kind of before the internet, social media woke, clickbait thing. There was a good story about, two friends battling on Falcon.
Yeah. Well,
So keep it in mind. I know I got to head to the school to get my kid.
Okay, go get your kid. Have a great
My daughter's
Christmas.
going to watch this. Thank you. My daughter's going to watch it knowing that I have to go get her. This is what Daddy does when she's at school.
Yeah, show up there. I've been working hard. You have no idea.
Doing famous Dave Mercer's podcast. Thank you.
Gosh, not famous about me, but Merry Christmas, dude, and thanks for doing this. And we'll chat soon.
Merry Christmas to you and to everybody out there watching. Like I said, if you get some stuff, I'm going to throw extra stuff in. It's Christmas time. Anything on the auctions, all you got to do is let me know they're Mercer. If Humper, if they say, hey, man, I'm one of the Humpers, dude, I'm throwing stuff in.
All right.
I got to pack a bag. I might as well just throw some extra baits in here I have laying around and say, hey, thanks for being a Humper. I'm going to throw some goodie bag in there for Christmas. But Merry Christmas to everybody, and I appreciate your community because they're the best, dude. You have a great community.
Well, you're the best. Thank you very much. The one and only great and mighty Byron Velvick.
Bye, Mercer. See ya.
Wow. There's nobody like Byron Velvick. Wow. Is all I have to say. I mean, I feel like I have been trying to hold the wheels on a bus that is out of control. One story leads the other, but I thank Byron Velvick for being so open, so honest, so awesome. Make sure you support Byron's Bunker. Tell him you're a humper, and he will give you a little something extra. So check that out. I'll put the links down below in the comments and in the description. How about that friggin' magic card pull? I mean, I swear to you, they were right beside each other. I mean, that was... David Blaine ain't got nothing on that. Oh, man. I got to start using those cards more. I'm going to put them on the desk or put them on the shelf behind me, and it's going to become part of the show. Here's more. Look at that. There's your Blockett card. A young Randy Blockett. How old was he then? 31. Young superstar, Kevin Van Dam. I read the back of it, and it said he won Rookie of the Year, and then his sophomore season, he is your Angler of the Year. And that is the start of a very, very menacing career. Not for him, but for a lot of pros. I mean, the greatest to ever play the game. And that's your KVD Superstar card. And hey, I got to give my Canadians a little love. Bob and Wayne Izumi, the only ones in there from Canada. And as you notice, those are signed by Wayne and Bob Izumi. And yes, a young Dave Mercer lined up to get said signature. Very cool. I got to have Clun on the show one day and just pull cards and see where it goes. Byron Velvick, thank you. Thank you, guys. As I said just a few minutes ago, this podcast proves one thing, that what we're seeing, the disputes, the downfall of the sport is vastly over-exaggerated. It's been going on forever. It's competition. And I thank Byron once again for such great stories. I thank you guys for hanging with us. Believe it or not, I thought I was going to have Byron on for 45 minutes, and then I was going to do a double show, bring another guest on. The one thing Byron Velvick cannot do, me and him together, is a short podcast, but they are always wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. Enjoy being. Have a great week. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away. So crazy.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?